What's up, MPX addicts, and welcome to MPX Rehab. I am your host, the hashtag certified Mark J. Williams, here with my co-host, as always,
the voice of the MPX addicts, Kyle Smith.
And we have, I guess we could say, one of the last of the four pillars that we can really get access to of MPX, the Immortal Jason Silver.
What's going on?
Ah,
you can see I'm stuck here with these two.
Yeah, sorry. But last week at the Last Dance in Texas, we had, honestly, this could have been kind of a sleeper show for a lot of people. But like was mentioned earlier, actually, it was a lot of really good matches.
Well, we have to hold the show. Apparently, Sydney's going to be late. So.
Oh, Sydney's going to be late?
Yeah, so we have to wait till she's there.
Oh, well, sorry, Sydney. You're going to have to, rewatch it later.
I'm immortal, but I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah. He's immortal. He's still got to eat. But yeah, at the Last Dance in Texas, it was a really good show. Started out with an interesting change to the main event, in which Exodus Prime not too happy with how things ended at Cold Day in Hell, and basically wanting to one up Tatum Manning finally at MPX, and got himself added to the main event.
Well, yeah, and it's even like I said last time when they introduced Dango, and that was the match that was talked about. I was like, oh, it'll be Exodus, because it seems this year Exodus has been kind of our workhorse, and he's been the one that's gotten the kind of high profile matches with his whole Eddic style reign with Warhorse and everything like that. So I'm like, oh, him and Dango would be amazing. Yeah. And then they announced Tatum. I'm like, okay, that's still good. Tatum is great, despite what people think I think of him. But it was just one of those where I was like, man, it really does seem Exodus and Dango would have great chemistry and just put on a great match.
Yeah.
So I was extremely excited that he was added to it, even the way he was added. And just also, let's be honest, we got to see Dango kind of 2 times, and we got to hear him. And that was always cool.
I like the fact that it was like Dango that wanted him added to the match. Then he's like, "Yeah, man, let's do this. Let's get weird."
Right. And I love how, because I've only seen a couple of his independent stuff. I like how the Let's Get Weird is coming back, because that was always one of my favorite things when he was Johnny Curtis in NXT. Yeah. So yeah, I was excited for that.
But yeah, then we started out the night with
and great music. Yeah. Come on, that was
oh yeah,
amazing.
No, that is very true. I was actually expecting it was going to be some kind of like a techno remix of his WWE music or something like that.
Right.
But no, it's just Take On Me. Yep. All right, cool. I'm good with that. But then we started out the night with Mr. Mayhem, Stephen Kirby, taking on the Trainer Red Chambers in the wish fulfillment match.
Yes, Squid Games had a purpose.
Yes.
And it's a great match. This, like you've said before, this is one of your favorite Kirbys. This is the fun-loving Kirby. And with Red, like we even mentioned, Red was one of the few ones that didn't get that trainer versus trainee match. Yeah. So it was great to see,
because he kind of got tossed into an angle like starting out.
Oh yeah, because I mean, let's be honest, he did so well. Like
he really did.
I mean, Red's one of those that is. He's one of those, when you look at the MPX training school and the graduates and everything, Red's one of the ones that immediately kind of jumps out as like, see, that's what we can do. That's what we bring. He's up there with, Jackson Tatum, Ryan, and Tommy as some of the best ones that have come out of that school.
Yeah, definitely.
Mikey's on his way, Iron Belly. There's a bunch of them there. But Red definitely is one of those that we saw as a ref a little bit, and then boom, just as soon as he hit the ring, he went running and hadn't stopped.
Yeah, but this match, it wasn't like, some kind of, mat technician clinic or high-flying explosive match. It was a fun blow-off match between, 2 guys who like working with each other.
No, and exactly like you said, it was pretty much fun. That's exactly what it was.
We already getting all kinds of comments? Yeah.
Of course we are. There's Kelsey, Courtney, Patrick. They're all there. The normals, the regulars.
Except Sydney.
Yeah,
and we got,
and Sydney.
We got Phil on Facebook.
I tried to stop.
Yep, Phil Noir's on Facebook and talking to us.
Doesn't he have a case to solve?
Yeah. I think we'll see the end of that case at Saturday.
His case isn't that hard to solve. He just has to figure out how to add color to his videos.
It is very true. It's just a simple switch of a button,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, apparently technology is not his thing.
Yeah, well, it does seem a little out of date, but it works. I like it. Personally, I'm a fan of the of pulp noir, detective thrillers, things like that. Yeah. So,
They're always good and fun.
This is why we don't let him talk.
This is true. He gets sidetracked very easily.
You're one to talk. Shut up.
But yeah, Red and Kirby started out super fun. I don't think we've seen Kirby chug that bottle that far down in a match in a while.
I know, right? Not since that Thursday, a few Thursdays ago.
Yeah, it should have kept you from it, but it didn't.
No, it
that
did
was
not.
one of our funnest shows. People want you drunk all the time, apparently. And look, you're home. You wouldn't even have to drive. You should be drinking every time you're here.
No.
Let's get alcoholic Jay
That
back.
would not be.
I prefer that, Jay.
See, a lot of people prefer that.
Everybody
Jay.
seems to prefer that, Jay, but no, that's just not. I don't want to do that no more. But I gotta say the finish of this match though had me kind of like I was a little bit torn because it made perfect sense to me that Kirby wins the match because he won against all the other rookies. Why not him too?
But it's also one of those where, like I had even said, I was like, does it though? Because I even talked about last week, like the last time we saw him in a match with a rookie, he let the rookie win.
Yeah.
So he let Mikey get the #1 contendership in order to go on to fight Casey this night. So it's one of those where it's like, how is he going to treat this? And he didn't treat him like, so does he favor Mikey?
Might be.
Does he have a favorite son now that Ryan has, kind of retired? Does he have a favorite son? So
that's entirely possible.
Baltimore says, Jason, you're 400 years old. You should appreciate black and white.
I still know how to use color in videos.
But because he is 400
I move
years old,
with the times.
He loves the technology.
But at the
he's
same,
grown up with it. He's enjoyed how everything has come involved.
400 years old. I stopped growing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. The world grows around you.
Exactly.
But
learn how things work. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'll get better at your immortality.
But the part that had me torn on the finish of this match was also, last week Red just won the belts.
Which kudos to Red to bringing out the tag title.
Yeah,
and I'm definitely going to talk about that later.
It's like you were hotter about that than I was. But...
I was super. Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one later. Because the next match after that was another trainee kind of match as Gabe Wilder and Brixton Shaw went 1-on-1. And ow,
they felt it later.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they did.
But that's something they're all used. Like they're used to that. That's how they train. That's how they work, and it makes for at least fans like me who love that. It makes it for an amazing match, and it was phenomenal to see two men go out there and just beat the living hell out of each other.
I was talking about the rookies from this year, Casey, not last year.
See, I don't get Facebook, so what did Casey say?
Oh no, he said it on YouTube. He said Kirby didn't win against me. Get your shit together, Jay. Like I was talking about the rookies from this year.
I didn't see that. Ah. Yeah, no, fuck
you
that.
might want to switch it.
I don't want to.
Speaking of not getting technology.
Exactly.
Live chat. There we go.
Yeah.
He's the voice, not the reader.
Hey, there's Casey.
But yeah, no, this match. Oh, geez. Honestly, it's like this is actually something I wanted to see because I remember him going up against Tommy, but I did not remember him going 1-on-1 against Gabe. I don't remember if he did or not.
Not in MPX. And yeah, that was something obviously, given where we're going and what we've done with Civil Disorder and Bricks and everything like that, it only makes sense to go ahead and go through everyone else until you get to Exodus. So we're going with Gabe, and then I would assume hopefully down the road before we get Exodus, we get him and Kari, because I think Bricks and Kari would be another phenomenal match.
Well, I don't know. We may or may not get Kari because, Kari's apparently tearing it up in other places.
He is, and rightfully so. He should be.
Yeah,
because, you like to call him the coattail rider and don't like Kari, but...
In character, yeah, sure, but,
But yeah, this match was everything we thought it would be. And I would love... This is one of those kind of like Red and Lock. I would love to see this 1,000 times over. Just because of how physical it is.
And then after that, we had I guess the evening out match of what should have been the main event, because I'm sorry, they went out there and proved that they should have been the main event. Tommy Dean, Casey Clay for the MPX Championship.
their last name's not Dango, and
I know, I know,
hefty price tag.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand, logically why Dango was in the main event rather than, Casey and Tommy. But, Tommy and Casey went out there and they proved that they should have been the main event.
Yeah, and this was by far my favorite Tommy and Casey match they've done.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love this
match.
If
you ask them, this was not their best match.
No, yeah, they both had issues with it here and there, and it's one of those two where this is their third or fourth match. It's their fourth match, and obviously every one of them's been good, but they will sit there and nitpick now at this point because we could have done that, we could have done that, we messed up this, we messed up that. But it was, as a fan's point of view, it's phenomenal. Now, yes, if you look at it through actual wrestling and wrestlers or whatever, yeah, there's things you can nitpick because, again, like Kirby even said one time in training, there's no such thing as a perfect match. You're always going to have something wrong.
Yeah. And honestly, it's like there was stuff that they wanted to do or tried to do, especially that execution towards the end that was supposed to be off the.
And I was just about to say, even the finish, the finish they messed up, but they recovered well enough to make it still look good and believable.
And that's one of those things where it's like, especially when you have to tell newer wrestlers and everything like that, okay, you screwed up, shit happens, move on, because it's like 9 times out of 10, if you screw up in a match or miss something in a match, your average fan is not going to notice.
Right.
They're not going to care because they're going to be too wrapped up in how good the rest of the match is.
No, and that's because I normally jump on with the "She Loves Casey" chant, but I was too engrossed in this match and watching it that I missed every opportunity to do it because that's what Casey and Tommy were doing. They were just putting on such a show that I was lost in it, as opposed to trying to lead a stupid chant, which is my favorite chant. Don't get me wrong, but that match was amazing. I've said it before, they're the most athletic men we have now that, Tommy hadn't come back yet, Tommy Becker. Tommy D and Casey, every time they go out there, they just impress me more and more every time.
And honestly, it's like now that they're 2-2, and honestly, if you actually pay attention to the history between these two, all 4 matches have been decided by outside factors.
Yeah. First there was Frankie.
First there was Frankie helping Tommy both times, and then there's Mackenzie helping Casey both times.
Yeah.
So now we have to have a match.
Come on, don't say that Mackenzie helped. He was there.
Exactly.
He tried to keep Casey going.
He was actually ejected. So how did he help?
Exactly. He didn't physically get involved.
Exactly.
Oh, yes, he did.
Casey did. Casey did all that on himself.
The ref told him to leave,
right.
And he listened.
Exactly.
He just happened to come back out after Casey won.
But it's like now it's like this is one of those moments where I kind of wish we could have a cage at MPX, and that way we can have just Tommy versus Casey 1-on-1, no outside interference. Just watch the two of them beat the shit out of each other for 20-30 minutes.
No, and it's weird. Like I'm a fan of Iron Man matches. I know a lot of people aren't because they're too long and stuff like that.
Oh, man.
But if you have 2 people who could do it, which I think Casey and Tommy could, I would give anything to see an hour-long Iron Man match with those 2.
Yeah, it's like I won't lie. I'd pay to see that one.
Just because it's 1, I think they could do it, and then 2, also this is a literal fight forever. Like why that chant didn't happen or didn't start, I don't know, because I could watch Tommy and Casey go 1,000 times, fight forever. Like it's weird how good of chemistry they have without really being training with each other. You know what I mean? Like they immediately just have one match, and all of a sudden the chemistry's just there.
Yeah. And Richard, there are things I don't catch, and I'm fine with not catching them because you know what? That's not what I'm there for.
Well, and even like going back to their chemistry and things they do, like the line salt reversal that they did back and forth was just so great.
Yeah.
Lower. There we go.
Not
that low. That's going to be confusing.
That's going to change our rating. We're already not for children. Now we're going to be like not for, anyone under the age of 18.
That takes out half our audience.
I was going to say, it's like that's like most of our views. Damn
and
it.
Sydney just came in, so she's got to leave automatically.
Finally.
But no, honestly. But yeah, no, I would love to see a final blow-off match that it's like just the 2 of them. No Frankie, no Brent, just them going at it.
Well, and if we know logistically we can get a cage in that building, we just need to figure out a way to actually get the cage in the building.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that
I already
would be
tried
really
to
good.
take the ceiling out. So that's
How many
couple
times?
times, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that was one of the questions. How many ceiling tiles are you in for with MPX?
I think too.
2?
Yes, Sydney. Jason did say, "Thank God she's finally here."
Yes.
And that's about time, and finally, and all
Yep.
that.
I think you just killed the girl.
Yeah.
I thought I was the one that killed people.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, you killed her. Yeah.
But then after that, we had
Your claws.
a tag match that had us on the same page for once. Me and Kyle of Sky De Lacrimosa and Sebastian.
The horror show.
Yeah. Taking on the Mad Prince and Mr. Legs, which this was honestly,
Mad
it
Legs.
was a fun match.
It was, and it's one of those where I was kind of curious how the chemistry worked between all four, actually, between Sebastian and Sky, which I guess if you look at it, Sky, seeing how many partners he's had, he can probably work with anyone. And then seeing the way Tommy has worked with partners, that he probably could work with anyone too. And then just having Legs go in there, and then Randy, Lenny, and Hilda, which, come on, it's a 5-on-2. That's not fair.
Yeah, no, it just the numbers game caught up with them, and unfortunately there was a bit of symmetry in the fact that, once again, Legs rolled up Sky with that with that leg hold.
Fuck you, Chris Fulmer, for the fucking then, now, and forever. I was like, God,
That was fantastic.
damn, that was great.
That was good.
I will say this, that regardless of who is in the match, I've got my issues with a lot of them, but I will say that the match was very standout-ish. I kind of enjoyed pretty much everything about it. It did look like at one point Sebastian got really angry though. Does anyone know why? What happened?
Yeah, I've never seen really Sebastian. I don't think he was used to brick style.
I was gonna say it's the Prince wasn't the only one who was mad that night.
I didn't think.
I can attest. Prince hurts a little bit, especially on chops.
I didn't think in movies you were supposed to lose your cool.
Christian Bale.
It's that Kubrick thing.
Yeah, okay.
Are we defending Christian Bale on this? Touche. But yeah, no, that's the thing is, even then that it still worked. Like, they all still came together, and they all still had a really good tag match. It's not, I don't know if we'll ever see either one of these teams again, but I wouldn't mind seeing the horror show again. And I wouldn't mind seeing Mad Legs again. Like, all four of those put on one hell of a tag match, and I thought it was good. Yeah, we haven't got to talking about Silver yet, so we haven't got the stories.
We literally mentioned the ceiling tiles.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that was
That was when I diced my head, and then I also sliced the ceiling tile. And
That
that was the air conditioner too, wasn't it? Yeah, it was everything.
Yep.
Yeah,
well, it was the metal grate that led to the air conditioner. But,
Ow.
Yeah.
Ow.
We'll talk about all that later.
That's why it sliced me.
But yes, the playground is fucking rough. I hate visiting the playground.
Yep.
Which, thank you for that Christmas gift.
And
it's weird. That's what I realized, which I kind of realized I have a weird thing like that. But no, I like pain, actually. It was very weird.
You've definitely got a weird thing.
I got hit in the throat and then hit in the nipple. I was like, holy shit, this is weird. Okay. I knew it was coming too. I was like, fuck.
You opened the door.
At least we're not mentioning your thong, so.
Yeah, well, it provides the comfort that other things can't, okay?
The thong is the thing now. But
It is
then
not.
after that, we got the match that you were in. You versus Mikey B. This match, I swear, this new crop of rookies, they just really are out there to try and prove that, if you happen to decide you're done with wrestling, they can take your spot as the unkillable one.
No, and he proved the virgin blood is still fresh. So
I will definitely say I don't think they'll be able to take my spot as the unkillable one, but I will say that anyone that goes against me will definitely be able to prove that they can take a lot of damage and keep going. I mean, I hate Mikey B. I hate his dancing. I hate the fact that he's in a failed boy band.
Yeah, you don't seem like a pop guy, so.
But I will say that he definitely did very good in this match. He definitely did a lot better than I expected him to, as evidenced by the fact that the majority of the match was him just throwing stuff at me left and right. Probably shouldn't have done that dance at the beginning, but I mean,
Yeah, probably not a great idea on his part.
But I mean, that just proves also with the outcome the veteran experience you have. Like that was, it was great. I really enjoyed the match. Like I said, I've said it before and I'll say it again. You are our Sean Waltman of MPX, and the fact that
no, I'm not on drugs.
I know you're not. It's not that part.
Oh.
It's the part where we get these younger guys or even new people to come in, and you kind of get thrown. They get thrown to you, and it's one of those where it's like, if they can hang with Silver and have a good match, okay, we might bring them back. Like I've said it before on here. I was extremely worried in your first match with Exodus. Exodus' first match with you, and I was like, oh shit, Exodus isn't coming back. Like that one was very rough. But he came back and he's become one of our better ones. And the thing with Mikey, like the match was so good. The spear was one of the better looking spears we've seen. But yeah, the veteran experience proved out, and I loved it. Because also this is the first time we've seen you back. We haven't seen you back in a while.
Oh yeah. I've got my own things to kind of take care of. It's kind of hard getting things going whenever I don't have my bottle anymore. Screw you, legs. But I've found ways to keep going, and now that that's taken care of, I'm just kind of showing back here and there. So.
Yep, good, exactly, and it's always good to have you back. You're one of the, like we said, one of the 4 pillars of MPX. And we'll get into it later, but you're one of the first local indie guys I kind of gravitated towards. So,
I mean it's kind of a funny thing too that y'all mentioned. Everyone kind of gets thrown towards me because around the time that I started going to MPX and then Sky was going to MPX, it was pretty much we were getting thrown to everyone else. Like we had to work our way up as well, and it just kind of, I guess, came back full circle now that we've been around long enough. People go through us, they go through Kirby, as you've seen, and I think it's less about like proving that they can hang with us and just proving that they can do what they need to do to survive, just as themselves. Like show that it's not necessarily us, because it could be anybody, especially I mean, like, look at when they face Kirby. I mean, Kirby, in my opinion, does a lot more damage than we're gonna do, but we can take a lot more damage, and they keep going. Like you saw with Mikey. I won, but throughout the majority of the match, he did what the smart thing was, which was throw everything he could at me. And in the end, it didn't work out for him, but he still tried to do it, which was, I mean, smart on his part. And so that just kind of shows, someone like him, he's kind of learning the more he goes through everybody at MPX. And whenever it came time to face someone like me, he did the smart thing about it. So.
No, and that's the thing we always said about the 4 pillars. Like the reason they are the 4 pillars, because whenever someone new or someone debuted, came in, it was either you, Kirby, Baby D, or Fisher. It seemed like those were the 4 that always got them.
And Fisher still comes around every now and then to help, show that.
Yeah, probably. Maybe.
There's no probably. I mean, he does it. It's not. It's not like every single month, but he still shows up from time to time, and whenever he shows up, he definitely makes them work for the match.
And that's actually one of the things I'm really hoping that all the teasing we're getting between him and the Mad Prince, we actually get to see that match, because that'll probably be a fun.
I definitely don't want to see Mad Fishes as a tag team.
I was gonna say, no, I don't. But that's even like even out of that, even Gabe talked to me. He goes, "No, I want that match too." And as good as Fisher and Prince would be, I think Gabe and Fisher is the match I want the most.
That is honestly,
I think it's a similar style, and I think it's one of those where
I mean, I know he's retired and wants to spend time with his family, but I kind of want both.
Well, yeah, no,
Like,
I would love that both too.
I just want to throw this out there, but since you kind of mentioned that match, I honestly think it could help Gabe a lot because if you ever saw Frankie kind of before his evolution, his style back then was a lot similar to what Gabe is now.
Yep.
And I think Gabe might need someone like Frankie to kind of get him to have his own evolution and start showing that he can be that guy that he talks about being, but he can also do the things that he talks about doing.
Yep.
Yeah. Honestly, that could work out.
No,
I'd really like to see that. But then we also had...
He's our Undertaker. We'll see him twice a year, maybe.
Yeah. Then we had the main event where we got Dirty Dango taking on Tatum Manning and Exodus Prime in a triple threat elimination style match, which that's a rarity.
That's called a three-way dancer. See, notice how Dango actually properly named the
Dango.
Dongo. Yes.
You gotta stretch it.
Exactly.
It's a dong. You gotta stretch it.
Oh, God damn.
Is that what you do?
That's what most people do.
But no, I like how, he came out and it's the three-way dance, and that is, technically, if you, at least wrestling knowledge and history and stuff like that with ECW, that's what it is. It's elimination style and stuff like that, so I loved it. But as soon as they said that elimination style, I immediately go, oh, so X is going to go out first, and then we're going to get our advertisement event, which is still, it's fucking smart.
Yeah.
It really is. But it also leads to, Exodus still not being able to one-up Tatum.
Yeah.
X might have gone out first, but look at how long he survived through that.
Yes.
And how much he gave until he was eliminated.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And
that's
that
because
match
he's
was
like
good.
one of the more cunning guys in the ring because he's smart. He calculates.
I love, immediately. As soon as the bell rings, he jumps out. He goes, no, y'all fight. I'm good.
Have fun. I don't need one of y'all to, it's like, I don't need to pin either of y'all yet.
Everything about that was great. And again, the very minor was at the very beginning with Tatum coming out. He's in the red gear where I'm like, okay, cool. Why didn't we wear the red gear with red when you won the tag titles? And then...
Have we ever seen Red actually wear red gear?
Yeah, he has red and black.
He's got red and black and gold and black.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the gold and black, he doesn't really wear a lot of it anymore since the tag team's not going.
And then, he's sitting there and doesn't have the tag title with him. And it's like, why are you not going out with the tag title? Like, I don't... That bothered me so... And I know it shouldn't bother me that much, but it bothered me so much that it's like... So you're just now shitting on your tag titles and your new tag partner.
Yeah.
Like that bothered me. But the match itself I thought was great. But again, if you actually look at it, it shouldn't really bother you because Tatum has always kind of been for himself. He's all about Tatum Manning. So does he really care about Red and a tag title? Not really. I mean, his character doesn't. So, but the match itself was amazing. It's one of those where Dango is one of those that he's deceptively big. Yeah. Like you watch him on TV and you don't think he's that big, and he is. Yeah. And we always say, Jackson, Brixton, Tommy, Dean, they have the hardest chops. Dango proved them all wrong, and I did not expect that at all. Which, I mean, Tatum has a choppable chest. We just haven't seen it in a while.
Hello.
So does Mikey, if you saw my man.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
So, yes, I do overthink this, Sydney. You should know this by now. I overthink a lot of things about this.
Maybe you should start saying them with your chest.
Should I say less?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
I think everybody would be much happier.
Richard says you're smart, by the way.
I'm sorry.
I'm actually shocked he's watching. Richard, don't you have D&D? Why are you watching?
No, Christmas ruined D&D. You missed it.
COVID's here.
Yeah.
Oh, COVID bingo again?
Yep, that's how it goes.
Or is it Omicron Persei 8? Is that what we're on now?
Something like that, yeah.
Futurama fans get that. Yes, Tatum did get welts, and they were... If you don't know the history of Tatum Manning, he's got a very troubled chest. Baby D can attest to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost back to the welcome to wrestling spot kind of thing. But, yeah.
Really, Sydney? I'm the one y'all like. It's Jay you hate. Jay you don't want to talk. You want to hear me talk.
That's true.
She said ratings would go up if I shut up. Fine, I'll shut up. Go ahead. It's just y'all. Go ahead.
You
Oh, no,
can't
don't do
shut
that.
up.
Don't
You're
do
the
that.
voice.
Don't do that.
No,
Don't.
go ahead.
We can't have a
This is all you now.
Fine.
we
fine.
can't have a show without the voice.
Yeah.
Nope. My feelings were hurt. I'm just gonna drink.
And you're leaving me with that.
I am. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Let me know. When you're
So
done.
am
I'll
I.
take it back
I'm
home.
very sorry. But it was a really good show. I enjoyed the heck out of it. And I'm actually looking forward to this Saturday as well, as we have MPX Presents Christmas Wish. And we're going to have some interesting matches there as well because.
Is he still talking?
Yes,
Yes.
I am. First up, we're going to
hoping it would
have
work.
Phoebe versus Nova Phoenix versus Morgan Mercy in a triple threat match. And
I'm always really excited that Phoebe's back.
Yeah.
Especially with this, I don't know what to call it, but this revitalization of her and being a wrestler. Like
Mhm.
the moves she's doing, the way she's trained, the way she looks, like you can tell she, I don't want to say it's taken serious because I think every performer takes it serious. But she's got a new fire underneath her and it's been amazing.
Well, the
past
performer-
couple times we've seen her.
Yeah, the performers that don't take it serious, we don't see back very often.
Emerald? Oh, was that out loud?
That was out loud.
Oh, okay.
Ernie's in the comments, dude. Come on.
That
But
would
yeah,
require him to show up.
Ah,
that right there. But yes, I've always liked Phoebe, but again, like I said, this fire and this recharacterization of who Phoebe is and everything has been amazing. It's a very, I don't want to say it's a simple move, but the cattle mutilation she does and the point of the bridge and everything, it's fucking beautiful. And it's always, I like seeing new talent, so it's gonna be great to see Morgan because we've only seen her once, so it's gonna be good to see that again. Nova's one of those where I'm okay to see. I want to see because there's times where we get very good Nova where you're like, holy shit, this is amazing, and then you get times where it's like something's off. What's going on?
reminds me
It's
of,
like hit or miss.
It reminds me of Loverboy Larry,
Yes,
where when he's on, he's on. When he's not, you can tell.
exactly.
And it's like it's like
Where's he been?
that's a good thing he's not on.
What is it from your mother's room or something like that? Whatever he came out to.
Your girlfriend's bedroom.
There you go. That's what it was. So yeah, apparently he's banging everyone else and just not wrestling. I don't know. Menage a Trois dead.
He's healing his
he
broken
won't-
heart.
He won't let Menage a Trois die, but he's still gonna live out there in
He's
it.
healing his broken heart. You know.
Menage nah.
Oh, no, that's the Chili Boys.
Good job.
But no, I'm actually looking forward to this match. I think, especially with the match that Nova had with Morgan last time.
Yes.
She was very much on, and I think being able to take on Morgan again and take on Phoebe, I think we're going to have a much more on Nova this time as well.
I think we are, and that's one of those where it's Phoebe's going to have to. I mean, it's two bigger people. She's going to have to learn how to be quicker, be more technical. Like, and the Phoebe we've seen the past couple of weeks, she can do that easily.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be good.
Yeah, because if you think about it, it's like you got the Valkyrie that is Morgan Mercy, and you've got the Titan that is Nova Phoenix.
I was about to say the Titanic. It's
Titanic.
gonna crash.
I was trying
Titanic went down,
It's gonna-
sir.
My
Right?
brain was trying to say Titanus, and I'm like, what? No, that's stupid. Titan.
So is Titanic.
Yes, it is. That's why I didn't say it.
It's definitely going to be an interesting style to the match, though, because you've got Phoebe. She's been around for a while. You've got Nova. She's been around for a while. Maybe not as long. I'm not sure. But then you have Morgan. She's going to be kind of like, like a new fish in a new pond. And how's that going to work for her?
Well, we'll find out. I mean, honestly, I think she's got what it takes to start to stand with them. But
Well, definitely. But, I mean, is that going to be something that clicks right off the bat where she realizes what she needs to do to take each of them down a peg?
Right.
Or is it going to be, one of those things where they're going to say, hey, you're the new person, so we're going to put all this on you at first. And then
Yeah.
we'll take care of each other.
yeah. Well, in her own post about it, Morgan said that she made some mistakes in her match against Nova, and that cost her the match, but she's going to learn from it. So hopefully she's learned from it, and she'll use that to her advantage this week.
Just start watching the matches.
But she hasn't been in the ring with someone like Phoebe. So It's good. It's definitely gonna be a learning experience for Morgan, which I love newer talent, especially when it's MPX homegrown talent. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see how she does and how she handles, again, learning from her mistakes with Nova, and then how she's gonna handle someone completely different from Nova than Phoebe.
Yep.
So
Phoebe can definitely take someone down a peg.
Oh yeah, especially the new Phoebe.
I've been to plenty of shows where I've seen it.
Yep. And then we also have the Mad Prince taking on Exodus Prime, and we've seen this before, but it's always a good match.
apparently you're creepy sometimes.
Creepy Jason. Yeah.
I don't necessarily know what that means, but you're creepy sometimes, apparently.
Apparently.
See, menage a non. I'm just looking at the important stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that says my name. Fuck that. I'm not gonna read it. That's actually wise. That's normally what I do.
yeah, that's probably it, yeah.
But
Oh,
I'm
is this
sorry,
about me?
he's trying to
Hide.
talk.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Could you calm your voice down?
Yeah. Exodus Prime versus the Mad Prince. We've seen it before, but it was always a good match before.
Yes.
I'm expecting we're gonna have a good match this time as well.
Always, and it's one of those where I like seeing Prime in these matches because he's so good and technical, but we don't really see the strong style, stiff style out of him. And when you're in there with Matt Pritch, you don't have a fucking choice.
That's not true. It depends on who he's wrestling. Really.
No, yeah, no.
Like, I've seen some matches where he's hit pretty hard. He's kicked pretty hard.
Yep.
He's jumped off things and hit pretty hard.
Exactly.
I was gonna say,
But
we've seen
if
him
he's
almost
working-
crush a sternum.
Yeah, if he's
Oh, yeah.
working someone that's a little more technical, then he himself kind of goes into more of a
Yes.
technical style.
He is, and that's I think why
I think that's the thing that
said-
makes Exodus like a threat. Is
Yes.
the fact that he can kind of just change his style to what he needs to in order to face someone.
No, and I fully agree, and I think that's why he was our MPX Wrestler of the Year and our workhorse and everything like that. Is because he adapted to almost everything he was in the ring with, and either matched or excelled them. So yes, him and Matt Prince is going to be great, and it is one of those where it is going to be very stiff and it's going to be very physical.
Who do you think's gonna laugh first in the match?
Oh, it's definitely going to be Matt Prince. He comes out laughing.
Yeah.
His literally theme music is
Yeah,
laughing.
but,
So
but the bell hasn't rung yet.
so when the bell rings, it'll still be Hilda and Matt Prince.
Yeah. I don't think they
Does Hilda-
stop
Does
laughing.
Hilda talk?
Oh, Hilda talks. Has
Hilda talks.
Hilda not spoken to you?
I don't think he's had the pleasure since Hilda came into the.
Oh yeah.
Did y'all forget that Hilda cost me my match against Tommy?
Yeah.
And then no one mentions that outside interference, and I lose the match, and
I tried to
no
say
one tries
it
to
was,
change the finish.
I
like-
tried to say it was 5-on-2 when it was Mad Legs versus Horror Show, but no one wanted to listen to me. I always told you Randy was off. How many years have we done this
No,
where I've said Randy is off?
I kind of see it now. I see what you mean.
What about whenever he wears that little strap with all the mini legs?
That's creepy.
Those
That's
are-
creepy.
Every one of those counts, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna try and use them at some point.
I was going to say there's Jenny and Leonard and Timmy, Benny.
We don't mention Tim.
God damn it!
But
The
yeah,
peanut gallery.
You can talk again, Jay.
Okay. But yeah, no, this match is gonna be good. Thanks.
that's all you got.
Yeah, that's all I got at this point because I'm just completely off track now. But then after that, we also have the first tag team defense of our new MPX tag team champions. Absolutely, those guys.
Is it trademarked?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Taking on the Mayhem Mafia, which
Yes.
the fact that Matt Locke, wanting to work on Christmas. I mean,
Sir. All-star Matt Locke. Remember?
No.
Yes.
No.
I
He's an
love
all-star.
Matt Socks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm impressed. I mean, he's already got to go deal with the Nutcracker over, and everything like that.
I'm sorry, I might have got it wrong. Is the addicts call him Ratlock, right?
Ratlock, yes, yeah.
Ratlock, right.
Yeah. So he's got to go face the Nutcracker suite. So yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to talk about nuts on this
I was
show.
going to say, you just realized now that you just promised Tatum and Red's nuts to get crushed, right? They're going to get cracked because of Matlock now. There's going to be a low blow. There's going to be a Shattered Dreams. It's happening.
Are you sure?
Oh, it'll happen.
You sure?
Matlock, do a Shattered Dreams to, we'll say Red. I think the girls like Red more. So Shattered Dreams Red.
It depends on if it's Kelsey or Sydney.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Fuck it, do them both.
It's like he's gonna have Dylan there with him, and Dylan's Smasher. Think about that, you know.
By the way, am I the
Smashing
only one that
nuts.
thinks that every time Red shows up, he's looking less like a Pokemon trainer and more like a truck driver?
No, you haven't.
Oh, okay, I'm not.
Just
the
no
only
one has said it out loud.
Oh
but
no,
yes,
there's been people yelling. It's like, look, it's Joe Dirt from the from the crowd.
Get her done.
Love you, Red. Really, we do.
I really.
Well, he doesn't.
I really want him to come out with a CB now. Change his whole gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
CB,
I
water
mean,
spit.
he can
come
hit up
on.
the other trainers with the CB radio.
Fucking what was it? Joe Ride. Joe Ride. Yeah. What was his name though? Yeah, Candy Cane. That's what he needs to be. It's red. Oh, he's Rusty Nail. Okay, yeah. He's Rusty Nail. That's what he needs to be.
Okie dokie.
It's a horror film.
Uh-huh.
Paul Walker.
He died.
R.I.P. You didn't let me finish.
Neither did the car crash.
Fuck!
I don't think you're supposed to say that word on the show.
That was a good one. That was amazing.
I'm just saying.
Oh, I say fuck all the time on here. Fuck. Talk
Live
about this
entertainment,
match for a
ladies and
second,
gentlemen.
'cause I've got to decompress.
I don't. Live entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. All thoughts and opinions expressed on this show by the guest are those.
Are all Kyle's fault.
Yeah, they're
Let's
all
be-
Kyle's fault. So blame him.
It truly is, but let's be honest. Paul Walker's family ain't watching this shit, so.
If they were, they'd be CGI'd. That's cool.
So those guys first Mayhem Mafia, huh?
Yeah. This is. I was.
Tell her I don't
I was
like
really kind of hoping we'd get this matchup.
Vampire
when,
Immortals don't like fire. It's bad.
I was hoping we'd get this matchup when it was Infinite Stock as the tag team champions, but unfortunately, Noah's injury has meant that that's not going to happen.
And
So it wasn't infinite.
No.
There was some stock, but it ran out.
Yep.
and no
Game.
disrespect to Noah, this match is
Why
probably gonna
not?
be a little better.
Mm,
Tatum and Red versus Mayhem. To me personally, it's not even this match that I necessarily wanted. I still want Matlock versus Red 1-on-1.
mhm.
And that's another one where I don't maybe want to do an Iron Man, but maybe a 30-minute match. Like that's one of those ones I would love to see them just Matlock beat the hell out of Red, but Red surviving because he's the unkillable bastard. So
Mhm.
you're immortal. You're not unkillable, and you're not a bastard. Are
Have
you?
you seen some of our matches?
Well, that is true. Yeah,
I was going
yeah,
to say,
you
it's like
did.
y'all's match at the
It-
Verge.
And I've actually seen you hang from a balcony, so I guess you can't be killed either.
I've flipped off of a balcony. I've
You've done that a lot.
jumped off of a balcony. I've been knocked off of a balcony. I've dove head first into concrete. Thanks, Dalton.
Sorry, we're not allowed to say that
No,
name.
we're not allowed to talk
Ah,
about
my
He
bad.
won't let me talk about it at all.
it. Yeah,
Trust
that's
me.
because we get harassed by somebody every time.
Okay,
yeah.
then let's change it. I've jumped off of a regulation basketball goal and almost missed the table, but still made it.
And sorry, Richard. Apparently, I blew everyone's sound when I yelled "fuck" when you made me yell "fuck."
I thought Jay was the one that blew.
Jay normally does, but sound
Oh,
with the
my
mic.
bad,
Apparently, everyone else is too low, but I yell "fuck" and it blows everyone's sound. I'm sorry. He made a good joke
Why are
about
we
Paul
talking
Paul
about
Paul Walker.
blowing and being too low?
I don't know.
I think he's going too far.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah.
What do I get wrong, Kelsey? I'm just curious. Is it the fact that Red's gonna lose? I don't know. Who the fuck is Noah?
See? The addicts already forgot.
Man, the addicts.
Oh.
Are
You see the name on that one?
Oh, I know.
Okay. That's cold, bro. That's cold.
Hey, he turned his back on his friend.
No,
Why should he?
Yeah, that happens a lot at MPX.
Yeah, I know.
You know something about that, don't you? Couple times.
Yeah.
I might be an asshole, but I don't turn on my friends.
That is true.
Yeah. There you go.
No, they just turn on you.
No, he
Yeah,
literally.
that seems to be the way
they
it
turn
goes,
on
yeah.
him, or sometimes he does it, right to their face. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Are we still talking about the tag match?
Yeah, I think we can move on from there. We're getting.
It's actually, I do want to say real quick, it's good to see Dylan back. Because it's one of those, we always see Locke. We don't see Mayhem Mafia as a whole, or even Dylan singly. So
Yeah.
I think it is very good to have him back.
Honestly, getting Dylan more often would be great. He's good in
Would
the
be
ring.
good.
Kind of like getting Bane more often.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
nice
also
too.
true.
Yeah.
But you're a little biased on that one, so.
Yeah, just maybe a little bit.
Are you
But-
talking about my size?
No, I never talk about your size.
How would you even know?
About his size? Yeah. I
So,
know.
Johnny
I walked
O'Mara
into the
versus
show.
Sebastian Envy, part 3.
No, he's just
Thrace?
interrupting you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Thrace.
He does that. He does that quite a bit.
This one, I'm expecting a good match out of this one. We have seen it before, and honestly, there is a good story reason as to why this one is continuing on.
Someone
What is it?
apparently is shopping and in the middle of Kroger's to drop an F-bomb really loud just randomly.
Just do it from back here so you don't blow the sound.
At least we're not talking about thongs in a Target, right, Kyle?
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. People apparently do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some assholes do that with their friends. That's weird.
I don't know. A lot
Just
of
trying to buy a board game for a Christmas gift, and someone's just yelling, "Don't wear a thong." What the fuck?
I mean, you gotta let people know if they're too old to be wearing thongs, like you.
Is there never an age to where you're too?
Yes.
What is the
Yes.
age? What is the age?
How old are you?
I'm 36. Are
That's-
you guys?
that's
That's
the
the age. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. They provide comfort, sir.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. Go ahead.
What are we talking about?
Johnny versus Sebastian.
Oh, so the writer block continues.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
at the good match. Cool.
yeah. But I'm honestly, this match. It has a good story reason to continue, and
Yeah.
it does beg the question, especially with the promo that was written for it. Is Sebastian going to get a Christmas miracle here? Is he going to finally overcome Johnny O'Mara, or will his losing streak continue?
I hope he beats the crap out of Johnny O'Mara.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you think you want that. You
Well,
don't have a good history with him either, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
It's definitely gonna be one of those where, again, it's one of those where it's gonna be very physical. And given what Sebastian went through last week, I think Omar is gonna feel it a little more this week.
Entirely possible.
Let's just hope
when
he
he does
doesn't
that
go for
greatest of
lower
knees thing.
midsection shots.
Yeah, true.
Not unless he's going for that knee shot, then it doesn't matter if it's like a
What if it was a
swoggle or
drop kick?
legs.
What if it was a drop kick to the midsection?
That could work. Yeah.
You think that would set him off?
Yeah, that maybe just a bit. Yeah.
But yeah, this match is gonna be good. It's gonna be one of those where it's got a built-in story, which some matches like this we don't get a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of the ones where it's continued and it's built, and it's actually built into, at least from what we've talked about, the fact that ever since that first loss, Sebastian hadn't been the same.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that whole, as we call it, writer's block and shit like that. So
He's a lot angrier since.
well,
I mean,
he
you
should
would be too. If
Yeah, you
all
keep
your
losing.
scripts keep failing.
Yeah.
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 I mean, they're very lackluster, and they're losing millions at the box office.
Yes.
They're not Spider-Man No Way Homes. Can I do spoilers yet?
No.
Damn it!
Next week maybe.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's 3 weeks. That's the rule.
Apparently.
Okay.
I was gonna say too. It's like maybe next week.
So what about Matrix spoilers? Can we do those?
that came out yesterday?
So yes.
Well, it came out the day before, but in theaters it came out yesterday.
Yeah, true.
Clifford dies, by the way.
Keanu Reeves is in it.
So is MPH.
Yeah.
I saw that from the trailer.
It's actually one of my favorite parts of the movie too. Yeah. But yeah, so expecting good things out of this match. It's stuff we've seen before, but it still could be.
So you're saying box office hit or box office bomb? I know you always say hit, but
it's cult classic.
oh, okay.
But
So you're saying it's going to lose money, but 20 years from now, it's going to make a lot of money.
no. Don't you know? Haven't you heard the marketing? It's an instant cult classic. Apparently, that's
I don't
a thing.
think that's a thing.
No, it's apparently a thing. That's what marketing says.
Doesn't it take a while to become a classic?
Right.
You would think so, but according to the PR marketing people, it's like an instant cult classic.
Yeah.
How? I don't know, but hey, that's all. I don't do that. That's them. But then, of course, we're going to have what's going to be the main event of Stephen Kirby getting his wish fulfilled after having a pretty decent win streak as of late. Like I said
Excessive
on
Mayhem, beating fucking Red. Yeah,
Mhm.
he's got there. He's
getting a start. Yeah.
Yeah.
In which he's going to be taking on the true hero of MPX, Casey Clay, the MPX champion for the MPX championship.
Yes.
I kind of feel bad for Brent. The Ice Capades tickets, man.
What a Christmas present.
Yeah.
And then poor Brent had
I hope he
everything
got the
planned.
insurance for him.
I mean, he had everything planned for a good Christmas off, and apparently MPX like, no, y'all gotta fucking work.
I've already taken care of it.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't even see
What
it.
am I looking?
At
Bottom
least
one.
2 or 3 of them happen per stream.
Oh, fun times. Yeah. Sorry for the spam bots, ladies
I
and
just
gentlemen.
figured that was Dimitri. It's Russian, so. So
He didn't
is it
say
not
that's
his
the domino,
family?
so
Yeah.
That's not Russian.
It's not. What is it?
It's not Russian?
No, what he said.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
no.
no, he doesn't.
No.
He's more Jewish.
So nobody cares. What?
Let's talk about the match. Yeah. Casey Clay, Stephen Kirby. This is actually, I'm
I mean, your name's not Jackson Stone, so
no,
Everybody.
nobody cares about you.
Exactly. Nobody loves me.
I love
know that.
Jackson Stone.
Who doesn't? Yeah, true.
What? That's totally not true.
I think
But,
we're supposed to be talking about the match.
Yeah, I just keep throwing me off.
It's not my fault.
My chest is fine now, Mad Prince. It hurt for a couple days after.
Yeah, that kind of stung after a bit.
Fucking loved it though. Always enjoy it though. It was great.
Yeah.
Because
But,
of-
Enjoy that?
Shut up. We're not talking about my personal life right now. We're trying to talk about Casey versus Kirby.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great match. I'm actually looking forward to it.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna
wish
be
he
very
would
good.
talk about it. I mean,
He
we
never
have to
talks
keep-
about anything.
We have to keep carrying.
I
the
never
show.
talk
I
about
always
anything.
do.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Me and you always have to talk.
I actually really am looking forward to this match, though.
Yes.
I mean, again, earlier we were talking about, kind of like the newer people, the
Mhm.
trainees and whatnot. Casey was one of those people, and he's kind of moved up very quickly. And now he's coming against Kirby,
Mhm.
and this is going to be a really interesting mixture of styles because Casey, yeah, he's got some power to what he does, but I mean, he jumps around. He does one of the best drop kicks I've seen. And then just facing someone like Kirby, who kind of gets that drunk edge before the
Mhm.
match starts.
Drunk strength.
Yes, and then as the match goes on, you can tell the stupor hits him more and more, so he feels less and less.
Yeah.
So he's a drunken master.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I was gonna say I think that's what you're going for. But.
Oh yeah.
No, that's the thing is, we sit here and we always talk about, trainees versus trainers and stuff like that. And this is one of those where if you look back in the history, and I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we haven't seen Casey and Kirby necessarily one-on-one. We've seen them in tags. We've seen them in the 5-on-5s a couple of times. And
Mhm.
we've seen everything like that. But we haven't seen that. And we're going to see how Casey can finally do. Can Casey really, this is one of his tests. It's one of those where he's like, who knows more about Casey than Kirby?
Mhm.
So it's gonna be great to see.
It may be one of those things, like I said about Red versus Kirby, where it was, Kirby taught Red everything he knows, but Kirby did not teach Red everything Kirby knows.
Well, and there's also the fact that, again, we talked about evolution,
Mm-hmm.
and since Casey's been trained, he has evolved,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's also with Brent, so that's kind of causing another evolution.
Yep.
True.
So he's been able to change a lot.
And
Since-
Brent's going to be there supposedly,
Yeah.
so
It is.
that's another factor right there.
And I think that's one of the things I think it was fucking brilliant when they did that is the fact that one, Brent's with him. It's one of the longest, most decorated MPX champions we've had. And it's also, I love the fact that Casey's now from Waco, Texas. Like, it's the true evolution of
Mhm.
Casey fully taking that mentorship to Brent.
Yep.
I love every little thing about that. I love the interactions with Brent and Casey. Like, and it's one of those things where it's weird, and I'm sure you can attest to it because you had Isaac for a little bit. Working with the manager is different. Having someone there and everything like that. And Casey, I think, he's taken to it very well.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those where it's a different aspect and different style, but I liked it, and I liked how this week it wasn't supposed to be for the title of Tommy and Casey, but Casey jumped on it, and he goes, "No, it's for the title." And Brent's like, "No, what are you doing? Like, you shouldn't do that."
That is the dumbest thing you could do.
Exactly. Everything about that was great. So
See, and that kind of goes back to, like, the guys proving themselves, though. It's,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it might not have been the smartest thing to do, but in Casey's case, he's got the title, and he wants to prove that he's that guy that he can face pretty much anyone at MPX and keep that title.
And I think that's the difference in I don't want to say rookie, but a younger guy having the title as opposed to a vet. Because say someone like you, if that was that same situation, you'd be like, no, you have to earn a title shot.
Yep.
Because you've already proved yourself. No one needs to prove anything to you. You don't need to prove anything. You've already got the belt. Yet Casey still has that chip on his shoulder where he's like, no, I'm the young guy. I'm going to prove I'm the best there is. So I love everything about that. But yeah, having this whole trainee and everything, I think it's great.
Yeah. Of course, I can imagine you would want Kirby to win this match and come away with the belt because you already know you can take the belt off of him. We've seen you do it.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was like, we're going to get into that later.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's the thing. That's why I probably wouldn't want Kirby to win it. Because if, I've beaten Kirby before, I'm not saying I could beat him again, and I'm not saying I couldn't, but the fact that I would like to face someone for the belt that I haven't faced before.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the whole thing at MPX, if you notice, whether it's the same matches all the time, there's always slight changes to them. And it's because, it's constantly about challenging ourselves.
Yeah.
And one of the things I enjoy doing is trying to challenge myself. That's why, I don't mind doing things where I just get the utter shit beat out of me. It's because it helps challenge myself to keep going.
I was going to say, it's like you get the shit beat out of you, but a lot of times you turn it around and, turn it into a win.
It's a rope-a-dope.
Yeah. He already knows he can't be killed, so he just waits for them to wear themselves
I thought we
out.
weren't talking about your private life.
Oh, okay.
So
you
also,
brought it up.
Also appearing, in addition to Jason Silver himself going to be there, we're also going to have King Cobra Exotic. Is this someone I've seen before?
Who?
I don't know.
Okay.
Cobra Kai exotic?
King Cobra Exotic. I don't know.
If he
who
does
that
not
is.
come out and do a crane kick, I'm disappointed.
Only if the fans chant, whoa, whoa.
Phil Noir will be there.
I'm sorry.
The only KC got is how he got booked on this show.
Like
have
I
that
said-
question. I haven't seen his matches when he's been on this show, but whenever his matches happen, does it go black and white?
I don't know. I think
If my eyes went black and white, I'm gonna flip the fuck out.
Well, I know they stream the show, so
Right, if they stream it, okay, cool. But if it's live and it goes black and white, that's weird, man.
at least do his
might wanna go
do
get
his
that
entrance
checked
like that, like they used to do with
I spent
NWO.
time with Bambi beforehand, that's why.
I'm sorry.
So no wonder your eyes are always messed up. Smoking the same thing he is. That's how he kept missing all those cheating.
Yeah, he missed a few things. I mean, just ask Mike Fox.
I love you, Bambi.
We all love you, Bambi.
Arms up for Bambi.
What?
It's called doing the Bambi.
I'm going to hell.
It's the newest dance.
Corvus will be back, or Corvus.
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 What the fuck?
It's the E at the end. It
Say
throws me
his
off.
fucking name right.
He
And
can't
you're a
even read his
professional?
own writing.
Whiting?
Whiting. I mean, look at him.
And you've only had water.
I think y'all spiked it. Y'all gave me this water.
Yeah, we did. Don't you know
yeah.
we drug everyone that comes on this show?
But Corvus will be back, and that'll be awesome to see because he was a lot of fun last time. And depending on who he goes up against this time, it may be less fun and more, people getting their asses kicked.
Exactly. And like I said before, when we first had him, I've always enjoyed Corvus's work. I've been wanting him down here for a while, and or up here technically. And now that we have him, it's great. And again, last time he went against Kirby, one of the pillars, and it was a good match. I'm curious to see what we have now for him.
Yep.
So.
Sky the Lacrimosa will of course be there, and who knows, maybe he'll go up against Phil. Phil will be looking for the case of the missing Skip Terrific.
I would love to see that go from black and white to red.
It would
Black
very
and white
quick.
and red all over.
Yep,
Yes.
it would go very quick.
Yeah. And of course, further speaking of people who are dangerous and hard hitting and everything like that, Gabe Wilder will be there as well.
I thought you said hard hitting.
Oh,
That wasn't me. That was not me. I have personal experience.
You're getting chopped for that later.
Yeah, I
just
know. I'm
because
just like He's got at least one more on his list apparently. So you know.
Getting shot played?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Well, from Gabe too on Saturday.
Okay. Gotcha.
but
I thought you meant you wanted it now.
Oh, I can do that. Okay, cool.
You could.
I'll do that
I'll
randomly
hold it.
next time.
I'm calling Tommy.
Matt Princeton taking your calls. Right now it's Derek Clausen.
Oh,
He
God
ain't
damn it.
listening.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
talk like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And of course, as Richard Hill has pointed out a number of times, Mr. and Mrs. Claus will be there. Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Aren't they a little busy?
No, it's going to be the evening of, so therefore, you know, they're already done with the work, and yeah,
I mean, they've got to come drop presents off, so
Okay.
I mean, they could stop by.
they have to make sure that you get your coal.
Don't
I was
you?
gonna say
You know
no
how
one
this
at
works, don't you?
no one at MPX is getting presents. So except for Madlock, he's getting Red's chest. That's his present.
Are we getting him a new hat?
I think he has one. Yeah.
And then Chris Fulmer will be able to edit that one onto everything as well. But yeah, that's like that'll be interesting. I'm wondering what Santa and Mrs. Claus.
How many Santas are we gonna have there, sir?
How old
I'm
is
try-
Mrs. Claus?
I'm trying to.
You're still working on
I'm
that?
still working on
Oh,
that
okay.
one. Yeah.
What about Mrs. Claus?
How old is Mrs. Claus?
I think they're about the same
Yeah,
age as
your
you.
same
Yeah,
age,
yeah,
You think she looks nice?
Maybe.
maybe. Yeah.
Might have to steal her from Santa.
I can see that.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, looking forward to this show. It's MPX Christmas. Get to spend it with family, friends, and people who like to kick our asses. Yeah.
I'm just raising my hand.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm gonna hit you.
Ow!
You deserved that.
If he flinches, Gabe gives him 2 extra. So.
No, I did
Why I
not.
hit him again.
No, please don't.
I wasn't even gonna hit him in the clinch. So.
So let's
Clinch again.
Why?
Well, at least I'm not doing that.
Boundaries.
Silver
This is
doesn't know
wrestling.
boundaries.
I know. But of course, now that we're done talking about the shows, let's talk about the man of the hour, the man of the eon, Jason Silver.
Oh, me.
Yeah,
Yes, you.
yeah.
Gotcha.
That's why we got you on the show, because we want to talk about you to you.
Well, did you realize that this show is apparently 69?
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. Apparently, he picked that just for you.
I did
We
not.
couldn't have
I
anyone
didn't
else
actually.
but Jason Silver for 69. I don't know why. Something he requested, so.
Jay has a lot of weird requests.
He really does.
You got some nose problems?
Right? What's going on, buddy?
Let's try this.
Remember, you're supposed to be the host.
There you go.
You want to try leading this?
Why?
I like that voice better.
Apparently, Richard says you have no boundaries.
That, yeah.
Am I supposed to?
It's wrestling. Does anyone have boundaries? I don't think so. Pretty sure.
That's how you get on lists.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure my first thing was wrestling is gay. There's no boundaries. So.
I need to learn boundaries. Really?
Yes.
Apparently.
Yeah. Apparently.
Look at some of the stuff you talk about, okay?
That is true.
Talk about wrestling.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah.
Haven't you ever gone on wrestling Twitter? It's toxic as fuck.
Oh, good lord. That's why I don't do Twitter. I'll leave that to our
People
marketing
getting
team.
dropped on their heads and stuff.
I thought it said Jace X has stopped working. I was like, who the fuck? What?
J.exe.
No, I
has stopped
got that.
working, yeah.
I was like, who knows your ex and why has she stopped working?
No comment.
I like Richard's comment. I mean, if Jay doesn't learn his boundaries, maybe Richard can get a new hockey stick and hit him with it.
Doesn't
would
he have a
not,
new
though.
hockey stick already?
I don't know.
I thought there was a Romo hockey stick 2.0.
There
I
could
think
be.
we've
If there
we've
is,
at least
Richard
seen the
needs to
headless
use it.
hockey sticks that have popped up. You know, they're always in that trash can that gets thrown at people.
Why is he always talking about things popping up?
Speaking of things
He
not
loves
working
popping
anymore,
things up and out.
Get us all on lists.
And we officially have a pussy on the show.
Leave Jay out of this, okay?
Oh, you are what you eat.
Oh, that means we've always had to put.
Tuna and pussy aren't the same thing.
That is very true. You broke all the Romo hockey sticks? That's sad.
That's just, yeah.
Kitty's
Because he
been
keeps
petted.
mistreating them, trying to kill Brent McKenzie with them.
Well, maybe he should leave Brent alone. He hasn't learned his lesson. He keeps getting knocked out. And
Apparently
he
not yet.
forgets. You got yelled at, Jake.
Yeah, I did.
So anyway, Silver's here.
Yeah, Silver's
Should we
here.
talk about
Hey,
him?
yeah. So, okay, we learned a little bit about how you and Sky got started with, as a tag team and everything like that last week. How did you actually get into wrestling?
Yeah, let's hear your side.
Yeah.
That's. I don't know.
All right, show's over. Bye.
No, it's not something I go into very often, but the way it kind of started is whenever I was younger, my family always went to wrestling, and it was kind of a connection I had with my dad, who wasn't around whenever I was a child. Not because he didn't want to be, it's just there was things that happened that prevented him from being around. And so I kind of started remembering that my grandparents and whatnot took me and my sisters to wrestling all the time. And it's something I just kind of really liked. I liked just kind of the show that people put on. It was almost like watching a movie, but you were there. And you can kind of see the movie being acted out. And then I just really got into it, and I met these guys. One was named Dave the Rave. The other one was Brian Justice. They were a tag team around Texas for a while. And so I started talking to them about wrestling, and they kind of offered to start training me. And then whenever I started training, the next time I got to see my dad, I went and told him about it. And then he kind of revealed to me that whenever he was younger, he actually used to referee at shows. And so I found it like a real cool kind of connection with him.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah. And I didn't even know this until I was telling him about it. And then I trained with Dave and Brian for a good while. I think it was a year and a half or so, maybe 2 years. And then I'm not saying that I kind of just stopped learning from them. I just felt like what I was learning was slowing down a lot. And so then I eventually met a guy. He used to wrestle, and he managed a lot at the Sportatorium. His name was Skandar Akbar. And whenever he started coming to the shows that I was on and whatnot, he actually talked to me about training and everything. I told him who I was training with at the time, and then he offered, well, if you ever want to come by, I've got a school out here, you're free to do this. I'll have to, charge you this much. And I was at the time I didn't have a lot of money. And so I went ahead and I was up front with him about it. And he said, well, you know what? I tell you what, you come by and we'll talk about it and make sure you want to do this. And if you do want to do it, we'll find a way for you to pay me back for it. And it ended up being things where, like around his school and whatnot, I would help like clean the floors, help clean out the ring and everything after training, all that. And me doing that and helping him around whenever he'd come to shows, he just let me train there. And that's actually not the first time I met him, but one of the first few times I actually got to hang around outside of actual shows with Hardakis.
Oh, cool.
It's nice.
So y'all have a much longer history than people at MPX even realize.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So first question we got, base question.
Well, base question.
What is the biggest mistake you've made that you don't regret?
Start training.
The biggest mistake I've made that I don't regret. Does it have to just be one?
I think we've all made a few of those.
I mean, there's a few things that I realized they were stupid to do, but I don't regret them because it kind of helped get some people's eyes on me. I mean, a lot of people always say, oh, that's stupid of you to do, like, jumping off the balconies and whatnot.
Yeah.
Luckily,
hung off balcony.
luckily, one of the big things I worked on whenever I was training is taking a lot of the hits that I take and all that. So I'm not saying I'm immune to it, but I can definitely take a good fall or good shot and kind of keep going from it.
And that's actually one of the things that makes you like supremely popular as a wrestler, the damage you can seem to take. I mean, as is trademarked by the Iron Belly, you're an unkillable weed because you take such damage. I mean, I've seen you take hits that I'm just like, how are you alive?
Immortal.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah, that very much so.
Is that something you always were as a kid? Just you would hit something and you're like, I'm fine. Or like, was it the wrestling training and background and everything like that kind of evolved into it?
It's kind of funny because it had a lot to do with the wrestling background because I always wanted to do crazy stuff when I was younger, like before wrestling, and I was just always really kind of scared to do it. Like I was worried, like, well, what if this goes wrong and I do something where like, I get really fucked up and then the rest of my life, like I look like this or I have like this injury that doesn't let me do anything. And so for the longest time, I just avoided doing really crazy stuff. And then I kind of started making some friends, like Sky, and that kind of led to me opening up a lot more.
So you weren't really the child, like kind of the jackass child that would do a bunch of shopping cart tricks.
I did a lot of stupid stuff.
Or shit like that.
I did a lot of stupid stuff. It's just, it wasn't nearly as crazy as the stuff you see me do in wrestling. I think one of the craziest things I did is one of my friends who passed away, we used to hang out all the time whenever we were younger. This is before I met Sky. And I had a trampoline in my backyard. Next to the trampoline was this big bush. The not so smart thing we decided to do was we would do, just like wrestling thing and whatnot. I decided, hey, I can be Jeff Hardy one day. And I jumped as hard as I could on the trampoline, which bounced me like fucking 10 feet in the air. I don't know. And then I was aiming for the bush and I missed the majority of it and just caught like a little side of it. So I completely missed and just slammed into the ground.
So it's a lot like the Wrestling 17 Swanton off the ladder where he misses the table and Bubba Ray Dudley except for his head.
Yeah. Very, very similar. It didn't like really hurt me that bad, but it did make me realize that, the ground doesn't feel that great. Especially when you're coming off of a trampoline in the air and realize, hey, they probably pad that stuff that Jeff Hardy lands on.
A little bit of it, yeah.
I guess speaking of jumping off things, stuff like that, is there one that after you did, you're like, okay, that wasn't smart. That actually hurt a lot. Like, I know we heard Remedy talk about the one at ACW where you pretty much landed on Sky fully, and Remedy rolled out. He goes, no, I'm not taking that. And you landed on Sky fully. And then there's the one at MPX where it was the chairs and Sky, and you landed on off the balcony.
And then there's the one that they show in the Please Don't Try This at Home video.
Yeah.
There's actually one that involves Remedy and Sky where I hit both of them, but it was kind of a funny thing because talking about it beforehand, it was they need to be side by side. And unfortunately, as I went up to the balcony, Remedy's here, Sky's kind of over here.
Oh man!
So it's like Remedy's
there's no winning
the way
on
I
that
need
one.
him to be because the way I was going to come off the balcony. Sky's over here. Sky doesn't realize I'm up on the balcony yet.
Oh, man.
So as he's turning over, I've jumped in the air. I'm coming down, aiming for Remedy, but trying to make it at least look like I'm going to catch Sky too. And he turns as this happens, and he sees me coming down, and you can literally tell it's one of those, oh shit moments. And he goes to turn, and my leg just goes,
oh, fuck.
Just right in the face.
I was just about to say, I was like, is it foot or is it head? What hit his?
That's one of the things where since it got asked, that's one of the things that I don't regret doing, but I did feel bad about it because it looked great. It looked like I killed them, but I did feel bad that happened to Sky.
Actually, speaking of stuff like that, one of the other questions that was asked was, what was your favorite match or move you have done?
I would have to say one of my favorites that's pretty close up there is it was actually an ACW show. It was at this thing they did every few years for a while called Fun Fest.
Oh, jeez.
And we actually got to set up a ring at this concert. Like, it was a big multi-concert thing. But we got to set up a ring there and have a show there, and then we got to go enjoy the concerts that was going on. And at one of those Fun Fests, I faced Remedy, but it was in a what do you call it? We were chained to one another.
Oh, like the dog collar.
Yes, the dog collar match, but it had like a metal chain.
You have an interesting history with those matches.
In that match, the reason I love it so much is because, you know, speaking of me doing crazy things, and this actually worked out when I thought it wasn't, I went up to the top rope, still wearing the chain, and I managed to do a 450 with the chain on me and still hit Remedy with it.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yes.
That's stuff I wish I could have seen.
I thought the chain was gonna like catch me in the air or something.
Yeah,
and
it would wrap or something.
Surprisingly, it didn't, and it actually worked out really well.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Favorite storyline you've been in so far? There's another favorite.
Favorite storyline.
I don't know. There's just been so many. I mean, it's really hard to pick because a lot of the stuff that I've done, it really just depends on the person I'm facing, because there's people like, you know, Barrett Brown, where I've really enjoyed just because of the way he works. Some of the storylines I've done with him. I've done a shitload of storylines with Sky.
That's
whether
the fight
it's
for
as
everything
a tag
right there.
team or a feud.
Yeah.
Right? I think one of my favorite storylines is actually it involves Sky. Was the Crypt.
Yes.
Because I love Hardakis. I love Sky, and I definitely like. I'm not saying this to be an ass or anything, but I used to not feel like I would get along with Isaac that well. Because I never really got to know him at the shows that I did know him from, and it wasn't until like MPX where I actually got to spend more time around him, and I really liked his view on things. I liked his input. He had really good ideas for me and Sky, and it was really like, I mean, I don't know how many people know this, but he was really the glue that kind of held everything together for us.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't for Isaac, I don't think the Crypt story would have been half as compelling as it was.
Right.
And, I mean, as you saw, like, almost every promo we did, it was Isaac talking.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's because he just has this way that it gets people interested, whether it's just him saying like 5 words or it's him going into a whole spiel.
Yeah. Honestly, one of my favorite moments is when after Hardakis retired the first time, and you and Sky became the Lost and everything like that. You know, he's giving his promo, and then you've got somebody in the crowd being, you know, loud and drunk. And he's like,
not drunk.
Silence, you insufferable hag.
Oh, that definitely.
And I'm just
me.
like,
yeah, no, that was a good one.
Was it
Whenever
Andy?
you can silence Melanie, it's great.
I was trying not to name names because I already have enough.
She doesn't fucking watch this
Yeah,
shit.
true.
But no, the thing I loved about the whole Crypt reunion was that was the first time the Lost Boys have teamed, at least in MPX, in forever. And that reaction was amazing. And y'all go from this very high moment to literally all the acts being like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Like, it just took them on that roller coaster of like, oh my God, we're so excited. Oh, wait, they're with Hardakis and Isaac now.
but see, that's actually another reason why I liked the story, is because almost every time the MPX addicts have seen me in Sky Tag, we're usually either good guys or we're these bad guys that kind of have like a good joke around kind of style to us.
Right.
And with the Crypt, it was one of the first times where as a tag team we were a lot more violent, we were a lot more angry.
Yep.
We kind of showed definitely a different style to the Lost Boys than what the fans had been used to seeing, and I think that's another reason why the storyline was so compelling. Is you didn't just get the same tag team in a group, you got a different version of the tag team in a group where even Hardakis was kind of acting different as well.
Right. And I think that's what I loved about when you had the mask from Hardakis and everything. It was, you could tell it was a different Silver. It was more vicious. It was more evil. It was more, balls to the wall, just go out and beat the shit out of someone. And I thought that was brilliant, the way you portrayed that and everything, of how, the mask is evil and it's changed and everything like that. I thought it was great the way that they did that. There
was also, just because of the mask, right before that happened, it was kind of like that, what was it? That struggle that I had where it was, I didn't want to keep the mask on.
Right.
And then I would put the mask on. I would start to go bad, but I'd want to take it off. And then it just kind of kept going back and forth. And then finally, again, Isaac involved, he convinces me to leave it on. And then as you saw, like, that just kind of shifted the style right there.
Yes.
Got a question that actually I think we can get a longer and better story out of. She's asking about what the bottle was for, but I know the inspiration for that. So let's go ahead and talk about what inspired the Lost Boys as, not just you and Sky teaming up, but, choosing the Lost Boys as your gimmick.
Well, the thing behind that was one of the things about me and Sky whenever we first met is, and I know he kind of went into this on the show, but we didn't have a lot of friends whenever me and him first met. We were both kind of outcasts that went to the skating rink, and even then we had seen each other a few times in passing, but we never really talked. And we were always just these outcasts that never really had anyone come talk to us while we were there. Never really hung out with anyone while we were there. Every now and then we might talk to someone, but it was like a few minutes. So we were just always these outcasts. And then whenever we started like kind of talking to each other and became friends and whatnot, we were still these outcasts.
Yeah.
We were hanging out all the time now, but no one was hanging out with us. And so it kind of, that's what led into the idea, is because of the fact that we're these outcasts. No one really hangs out with us. Whenever we try and hang out with people, they look at us like we're just these really weird people. Like, you're weird, you're different. We don't want to be around you. And so that kind of led into the idea, because at that point when we were talking about, well, like, what are we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna be? It was, well, why not kind of? One of the things people say in wrestling is one of the best characters to portray is a character that involves you, like that really has something to do with you or your life, something you can draw from. And so we came up with the idea, well, what about like if we were kind of vampires, because vampires are outsiders, they're these people that are always outcasts and whatnot. So why don't we kind of go with that? And it was also the fact that we both loved the movie The Lost Boys.
Fantastic movie.
So that's what kind of led into that. Is just we were both outcasts. We never really had a lot of friends. And then just when we were trying to figure it out what to do, that seemed like the smartest thing to do, because it was something we could both draw from. It would be a little different for each one of us, but we both had something to draw from for it.
So yeah, and if you don't already know, the bottle actually comes from the movie The Lost Boys. So
we're vampires, so we need something to drink.
Yeah.
And this just doesn't cut it. Yeah. And screw you, legs.
Let's see. Travis Trueborn asks, what past experiences in wrestling led to use your style in MPX as compared to from ACW or elsewhere?
I'm not really sure. Like, is he talking about the style I have now, or the style kind of before like I had my own little evolution. Like,
I don't know. I mean,
because I mean, for the longest time, whether it was at MPX, ACW, doesn't really matter. I did crazy things.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that kind of got people to notice me and whatnot. Is I was just at first I was this kind of new young guy, and I was doing all these crazy things that people wouldn't dare to do when they started out, because people would always tell you, that's going to shorten your career and all these things.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying it won't, but luckily I can protect myself for the majority of the fall, and it doesn't hurt me as bad.
And he says yes now. So
now, the thing that kind of led to that is I feel like with where I'm at MPX, it just makes a little more sense to not be doing all the crazy things, because of the fact that, for one, the addicts cheer for everybody that smiles their way now. And two, I'm not really being nice to the addicts, so why would I do the crazy things that make them cheer for me and whatnot?
Yeah.
Now, it's one of those where we always talk about, Exodus and Schaefer will play the crowd like a fiddle and stuff like that as far as heels. You do too.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, I think it was a ladder match where you crushed leg and ladder. I was like, do it again. You're like, oh, you want me to do it again? And you went to do it and you're like, fuck you. And you pulled it away. I was like, oh, fucking smart. Brilliant. I was like, that was good. Damn.
It doesn't matter if you cheer for him or boo for him.
Exactly.
Fuck you. You're one of the fans.
Exactly. You're going to ask him to do it. He's not going to do it.
And then look at my match with Mikey.
Exactly.
The fans love seeing him dance, so I dance and made them say, oh, boo.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I love, because again, you're one of those, like, when I first started going to MPX, you were always the crowd favorite. You're always this, you're always that. You were one of the most over, we even joked about here, it's the silver pop. You always got the loudest reaction, and now you're trying to turn different, and you're trying to get that boo. And I love the evolution of the silver character of going back from the old MPX to what you are now.
Yeah.
I'm one of those, I love the character development and the arc and the evolution about it. And it's been great to watch.
And that's kind of a thing too, is it's not very often, but there have been moments throughout MPX in the earlier days where I became a bad guy here and there, but it didn't last because of the fact that I always did all these crazy things and everything that got the fans to still cheer for me.
Right.
When it's like, no, like, we need them to hate you. We want them to hate you. And I was like, cool, I'll make them hate me. But then for the brief second that they hate me, I would do something, crazy or whatever, and they would, yay.
Yep.
And even when I'm an asshole to the people that they like, they're still, oh, he said something funny. We hate the other guy.
Because, and again, it's one of those where, going back to it, you're still ingrained into the history of MPX. Like, one of the best moments of that new building is when you finally achieved the MPX title, when you finally beat Kirby.
Yes.
Because it was one of those where it was going back to the old building. You always had that chance where, oh, he's going to get title. He's going to get title. Oh, he fell. Oh, he's going to get it. Oh, he fell. And then you win the Rumble. Then you go on the Destiny. And I don't think I've heard a louder reaction, maybe next to Baby D winning the title, than that night. And it's one of those, it's one of the few pictures I have saved in my phone of me and you with the MPX title. Because it was something I carried from the old building. It was something I wanted. Like I said on Twitter, you were one of the first ones independently, locally, that I gravitated towards, because when I first met you, I thought you were a fucking fan at VIP. Like, you were sitting there trying to get votes for Unholy Complex versus Young Boys. Yeah. And I was like, who is this?
That's another team I would love to revisit at some point, is especially with, again, people having evolutions. Izzy, he's had a huge evolution since he's been gone. And just, if at some point he were able to come back, I would love to just, even if it's just one night, have another tag match with him and just see the different style that we could present as that tag team against someone else.
Exactly, because you were sitting there trying to get the votes to fight the Young Bucks, and then you go out there and you're fighting APOC and Tim Storm. I go, hey, it's the fan that was talking to us. Or, oh shit, he just died. And then I go to the MPX the next week, and there you are. I go, oh, okay, he's around. Oh, cool. And he dies but lives. It's amazing. And it was one of those, I just gravitate towards, because like you were talking about, you'll do something and you just get the fans' attention, and you're like, and immediately people watch and they're like, oh, this guy's good. Like, it's very Jeff Hardy-esque.
Yes.
You see him do something incredible. He may not be necessarily the best or whatever, but you see him do something, you're like, holy shit, this is amazing. And he gets back up.
Yep.
And he keeps going and keeps going. And yeah, it's just one of those when that crowning achievement finally happened at Destiny against Kirby, against all odds and everything, because it was I think that was at the height of like creative, and it was.
Speaking of, we
Kirby
can also thank Richard Hill for that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he doesn't get a lot of credit very often. People do mention him and whatnot, but if it wasn't for Richard, there's a lot of stories at MPX that never would have happened. And so if it wasn't for him, that's one of the ones where I'm not saying it wouldn't have happened, but it wouldn't have happened that same way, and I don't think it would have gotten the fans' attention the same way.
Right.
Yeah.
And
especially like talking about you winning the Rumble to go on and win Destiny and everything like that. You know, they had it that almost be the completion of your story against Hardakis.
Yes.
Right, because you eliminated Hardakis, who's undefeated and everything like that, and then it was a super kick and over the ropes, and the mighty underdog Silver won, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was a great moment.
Yeah. Honestly,
I'm one of the few people that beat him that he didn't try and kill.
Yep.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, later on, he tag teamed with him. So.
There you go.
Because it was the mutual respect he had.
That's actually probably it. For as dangerous as Hardakis is, and how much he can kill someone just by slamming them down, I think he's one of those people that a lot of people don't realize it, but he's got like this honor and he's got this respect. And if you can beat him without having to do something real slimy or like cheating or whatever, he'll respect you a lot more for that than if you do beat him doing something like that, because it shows that you couldn't beat him straight up.
Yep.
But if you could beat him straight up, then whether he likes the fact that he lost or not, he's still going to just look at you and be like, you know what? All right.
Well, and we've seen it. We saw it with you, and we saw it later on with Wes.
Yep.
How Wes beat him, and then when Wes needed someone in his corner and wouldn't call anyone, Hardakis appears, and helps defeat the emos and everything. So yeah, it's
House Sagan.
Sorry, House Sagan. I forgot. Yeah, it was House Sagan at the time.
Yeah,
they're always emos.
House Naggin.
It's emo Christmas time. Remember?
Yes.
Is that a thing?
I lost
emo
Mariah.
Christmas was a thing.
I thought that's called Halloween.
Oh, okay.
I lost Mariah Apocalypse because of that damn clip. I'm like, oh, I remember this. What song did they use? Oh, god damn it.
But yeah, just going back.
Says he wants to scrap with you.
That would be
Tommy Dean.
I'm down for it.
The Tommy Dean.
Yeah, the Tommy Dean.
You can't use the.
After
Yes,
seeing
you
his
can.
match
else is using
this
it right
last
now.
week, I am totally down for it, because to see the style he has, and then even he was able to modify his own style a little bit against someone like Casey Clay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would love to see how he modifies his style to face someone like me.
Well, that's
Because
also...
I'm not saying I would destroy him. I'm not saying I would just run wild over him, but I would definitely think that because of my style, it's something that would throw him off for a little bit of the match. But because of how he does work, he's smart enough to catch on throughout that match, and I'm sure he would definitely turn it around at some point.
Well, I mean, it's also XV fighting each other, which is nothing new. So,
which that hasn't really gotten a lot of notoriety.
Yeah, no, it really hadn't. I try. It doesn't work.
Sorry, Sydney. I don't think the bottle is coming back. I hear that certain agents of fate don't like it, and they just want it done with now.
But I mean, hey, it gave us our first ladder match, so I'm forever thankful for the bottle.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Randy took all that for the PEDs.
Can we make Jay shut up?
Just unplug the thing. It works.
It's taped on there. There we go.
There we go. So yeah, no, but that is thing. Like you again made history in the building with the ladder match, and you did it with someone who was fairly new into it, and obviously never really. I mean, you've probably worked with ladder, maybe not a ladder match, but you've worked with ladders before.
Yes.
And obviously Legs has not, and that match was way better than I thought it was going to be.
It's actually a funny thing, because I'm surprised with how many ladder matches we've had at MPX, because for the longest time, whenever we got this new building, it was thought that there's no way we can have ladder matches in here. there's no way it's gonna work. There's
I
no
think
way
I
we
even
can
said that when
get
they
set
announced
up.
it. I was like, they can't do a ladder match in here.
And then, I mean, just like MPX typically does, the people behind the scenes and whatnot, and even the wrestlers, we found a way to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I feel like it might not be the cage everyone wants, but at some point we could have a cage match.
Yeah, exactly. It could happen. And it very well
What did
might,
I do
but
to
you never
you?
know. But no, that's the thing is... that was a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that ladder match...
Gotta get the other side.
But yeah, no, again, like I said, that ladder match I
Got
thought
you,
was
Rich.
great. And the way y'all did it and everything, like, because it's one of those where you, again, yeah, you can't have a ladder match in that building. And then I was like, oh, there's no way Silver can hang off of it, because obviously you're Silver. That's what you're going to want to do. And it still worked. It was great.
And especially with someone as tall as Legs.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't even need the ladder. He could probably just reach up and grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it'll all come crashing down. That's what we've been told.
No, I mean, that ceiling's pretty durable.
No,
I mean, I've hit it plenty of
I was
times.
going to say, Silver held it, so
Yeah.
And yeah, you've gone through it, so you know it works.
Yeah.
I,
You know
I
the
didn't go
strength-
through it. It stopped me.
that is true.
It didn't stop my knee, but it stopped the rest of me.
Thought it was your face that hit it.
No, that was the vent.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
My face grinded across the vent because you know the grind, and then my knee hit the ceiling tile and it stopped my leg momentum and whatnot. And then
Is that when you
speaking
were,
of Brent,
I was
Brent's
gonna
the only
say
one that tried to
kudos.
save me.
I was gonna say kudos to Brent trying to save and catch you.
Yes.
He's the only one that went, oh shit.
That's one of the things I love is like, Kirby's like, I don't care how fake it looks. You saved them.
Mhm.
Keep them alive.
Actually, aside from Brent being the one that tried to save me, that kind of goes back to what I was talking about, how I've learned to take some of the falls and whatnot. If you watch that, I don't know how I managed to do it, but in the air, whenever my momentum stopped, I was falling and I literally went, huh?
Yeah, I saw you turn. I was like, oh.
I kind of prepared myself for that fall because I assumed no one was going to catch
Yeah,
me.
it's like, this is going to hurt.
I think that's one of the first things I noticed when I first saw the clip go viral or on Facebook and everything like that. I was like, oh shit, he wasn't knocked out. He turned. He knew.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he saw it coming.
I really didn't feel the
Yeah.
face at all until after like that happened. I was on the ground. I didn't feel anything on my face, but then I started feeling like my face was wet. And so that's when I kind of went, huh? Oh shit. And that's when I noticed like the blood and whatnot.
Was there ever a moment, other than that one, was there ever a moment where something happened and you're like, oh, this isn't right and this is going to hurt really bad or no one's going to catch me? Or like, have you had a super, super scary moment other than that one?
I don't know. Like, I think one of the scariest moments I've had at MPX is actually a more recent one, and it has to do with Ratlock.
Oh, that explains
It
everything.
was my match with Matt, and we were both going up top, and I was going to give him a superplex. I thought he was trying to adjust himself. Like, it looked like he was bringing his leg up, and then he just slowly started doing this. And I was like, is he trying to, like, stop me from giving him the superplex, or what's going on? And then he just kept going. And I was like, what the fuck is he doing? And then he just started to drop, and I was like, oh shit. Like, I tried to stop him, but I had no idea what was going on at that point. Like, because before I got up there, he was ready for it. And then whenever I got up there and I hooked him, he was ready. And then it looked like whenever I got ready to give it to him, that's when it started going,
I know, and it's always...
And that was just really scary for me, because with someone like Matt, like, I'm not saying, he's like a fat person or anything. I'm just saying he's a bigger guy.
He's very thick.
Yes, and with that kind of weight just falling from the turnbuckle to that floor, like, that's not gonna feel good.
No.
Especially when I didn't know if it's something he was trying to do or not. So I was like, if he's not expecting this and he just fucking drops, like, and that scared the shit out of me at that point.
Yeah.
Well, and that's always one of those, when moments like that happen, like that instant, it always flashes back to BJ Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs.
Yeah.
And that incident, you're like, holy crap. And I love Jimmy Jacobs telling of it because he's like, no, BJ saved my life. It may have broke my ankle, but BJ saved my life.
Yeah.
And it's just very similar when there's things like that.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Like, when it comes to a lot of the things that scare me in wrestling, it's always usually not like me doing something that scares me. It's something happening to someone else, because while I might not always be able to protect myself, I'm pretty sure for the most part I can take care of myself enough to not get seriously hurt, hopefully.
Right.
But I don't know if the other person knows how to do that, or I don't know if they're prepared for what's about to happen and stuff. So those moments usually scare me more than like my own moments going wrong.
Well, and it's one of those that's kind of that wrestler's code of you're there to protect your opponent.
Yeah.
So you're always going to be more
beat the shit out of them, but protect them.
Yeah.
Right. You're always going to be more fearful of, oh shit, I hope they're okay. As opposed to, if I get hurt, fine. That was my fault.
Yeah.
But like, it's you're always going to protect the person. Like you said, you immediately went into the mode of, I got to try to protect Locke because something's going off. So
yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, like I wasn't able to keep him up, but I was like, oh shit. At the moment, I realized like he's still going.
Right.
Like I tried to stop it, and at that point, I had let it start going too long, and then I just wasn't able to stop him. And I've always felt bad about that. At first, before I went back and watched it, I felt like it was his fault.
Right.
And then I went back and watched it, and I kind of felt bad for saying no, like that was him, like he was sliding off. And I realized I had a hand to play in that too. Like whether it was both of us or it was just my fault. I definitely had a hand to play in not stopping that, and so it scared me, and I've felt bad about it happening since then. So
yeah, well, I mean, people don't like him much, but I wouldn't want to see him die either.
Well, I mean, people say they don't like him, but everyone loves Master Splinter. So
Exactly.
you've got to love Ratlock.
Yeah.
That is a question. So they said who arranged the match with Gangrel, but go ahead and talk about your experience with Gangrel. It's obviously built in, obvious. You and Sky have to team with Gangrel at one point.
That was actually one of the highlights of mine and Sky's careers, I believe, is the fact that we got to work with Gangrel when it's this guy that everyone knows from like WWF and everything, or WWE at certain points where they had the Brood, which is pretty much like
one of the best entrances ever.
That's one of the things that kind of gave me and Sky the idea for the style that we went for with our vampires and whatnot, but we still wanted to kind of switch it up. And but we've always wanted to do something with him, whether it was like face him in a tag match or work with him. And then the person that actually made that happen, his name's Darren Childs. He's the promoter of ACW, and it just kind of worked out to where he was like, hey, I'm not guaranteeing this is what's going to happen, but I'm trying to get this, which was him trying to book Gangrel. And then whenever he finally confirmed that it was going to happen, like me and Sky were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, I hope nothing happens to like make it where he can't make it. Or
it's like I remember seeing how excited you looked in the promo video you did for it. I found him. I found Dad. I'm like, oh my God.
That was
it's like, I know it's scripted, but holy shit, he's excited.
I mean, that was kind of the whole purpose behind it is, and a lot of the promos that me and Sky have always done as the Lost Boys and everything, while we have our comments and everything that we make, we never really seemed like very energized. Like where we were just like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so with this, it was like, how many times are we going to get to tag with Gangrel?
Yeah.
So let's make this count. Like, let's just act like it's the best thing that could have ever happened to us in our
I know years. Richard keeps bitching that people won't give him Gangrel's number. He'd love to book him otherwise.
Tell him to hit up Darren.
Which, kind of going back to, you talk about how Gangrel's a little bit of inspiration. What other inspirations do you have? Like, I know because we've seen it in the retro shows, you're obviously a huge Sting fan. What,
that was awesome.
What other inspirations did you really have going in to become who you are right now?
One of the biggest inspirations is, again, like I said, whenever I was younger, my family used to always go to these wrestling shows and whatnot. One of the places we went was the Sportatorium. it was kind of the tail end of it, so it wasn't the same sportatorium as like, you know, in the earlier 80s.
Right.
But it was still, there were some people we got to see, and one of the people that I remember from my youngest time there was the Von Erichs. Not all of them, obviously, but yes. And that was one of the big staples for me, is just seeing kind of like this family involved thing, where it's an actual, you know, family, and they're able to be in wrestling and still make it kind of count, where it's like, this hasn't made us enamored towards each other or hateful or anything like that. Like, they might not have always liked one another for the things that they did, but they still got together like a family.
Right.
And that's kind of where, like, once I got into it, I always, one thing I've always wanted growing up was I wanted a brother. I had sisters, but I always wanted a brother. And so with some of the friends I made, that's what they kind of always felt like to me was brothers. And that's kind of where another way that the thing with me and Sky evolved is we not only did this vampire thing, but with vampires, once you kind of get into that vampire group, you're pretty much family. And so that's one of the things we looked at, is once we became friends, we were always trying to be there for each other. We were always, you know, like, if you need help or whatever, let me know, or I'll try and help you. And, you know, I even helped him kind of get into wrestling. And so it was just one of those things where I really liked the Von Erichs thing. And then that kind of had a part to play in us being Lost Boys and everything. So the Von Erichs are a big thing for me. Surfer Sting, and then Crow Sting, and
I gotta say, your match against Jeff Hardy Malico, you know, that was so much better than the actual match.
Yeah. Yeah, that Jeff Hardy wasn't too messed up to
Yeah.
roll up. Which I think that's something a lot of people.
Well, I definitely didn't leave through the fans.
I think that's something a lot of people definitely look at you and immediately think, "Oh, he's Jeff Hardy fan," and everything. Which I'm sure you are, but it's not. That's not like one of your big inspirations.
Well, see, that's the thing is, I don't think Jeff Hardy himself gets a lot of credit for it, because people always look at it like, you know, he just does all these crazy things. But the thing is, there's been wrestling where people have done crazy things for years, but it took around, like, you know, late 80s, early 90s before people started realizing that there was like hardcore wrestling.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's when it started getting famous, like hardcore death matches and all that.
Yeah.
And so he's actually doing a toned down style of like crazy things, whereas in like the hardcore matches and stuff, people were doing just absolutely bonkers shit.
Actually, that was another question we got. Greg Bergfield asks, do you like extreme violence matches? Like the excessive violence, hardcore, things like that.
I hate excessive violence. That's not true. I love everyone in excessive violence. It's different styles, and each one of us has a style to provide to that group. So no matter what tag team you got from excessive violence, you're going to get a different style.
Yeah.
And so what was this question?
So do you enjoy the violence matches, or what is your favorite match type you've ever really wrestled?
I wouldn't say that I hate the violence matches. I actually enjoy having the freedom to do crazy things, but it's definitely not something where I just want to be known for only doing crazy things.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like hit and miss. It just depends on what I feel like the match might need.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely whenever it comes to like me and Sky facing each other, yeah, we can do a normal, you know, just one-on-one match. But with me being immortal and him having his own kind of, you know, play on that, like, do you really think you're going to get everything out of just a normal match with us? Or do you think that it might need something like an excessive violence addition to it?
Right, and it's one of those where it's
definitely going to be a lot easier for us to beat one or the other.
And I think it's very weird when you look at excessive violence tribe and everything like that. I think you are the one who does the least amount of hardcore and violent matches. Like, you're one of the ones that's more.
I thought that was Kai.
Yeah, true. I guess I don't
require
really
him being
know.
around.
I don't really know how
true.
much
That's
Kai
true.
does, but That's the thing is
I
like
think
when you look at
Emerald showed up more than Kai has.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing is when you do look at the history, like you said, you don't want to be remembered at it. And granted, at least a lot of the acts don't know your past with ACW and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like as far as MPX goes, yes, you've done ladder matches, you've done hardcore matches, but it's or fans bring their weapons match, but it's not necessarily. I don't think what you're known for. You're just known for going out there and you'll put your body on the line to win the match.
Mm-hmm.
And which I think kind of contributes. You're like, nah, I don't want to be known as that. I want to be known as a guy who can win a match and do whatever.
I mean,
like you're kind of what Darby Allin is trying to do right now. Like in the fact,
I wish
that,
I had Sting as a manager.
Yeah, I know you do. But no, he'll
Seriously,
sit there.
first time I saw Darby Allin on AEW, my first thought was, he's biting on Jason's style. What the hell? And then Sky's like, no.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing is like you sit there and you'll have these regular matches and you'll do crazy stuff, but it's still a match. It's not a hardcore match. It's not a ladder match. It's stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think you're one of the few in XV who, and granted, I've said it all the time on this show, hardcore wrestlers are actual wrestlers. They're not just labeled that. Like
Look at Masada.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize it.
He's the ultimate example on that.
A lot of people don't realize it because of the fact that almost every time you see Masada, he's in like, a hardcore variation of a match. But put him in there with someone that's tries to chain wrestle him, and he's gonna make you go, "Holy shit! I didn't know he could do that."
Yeah.
Him and Roger Strong, 2011 ROH. I bring it up every time. That match right there is one that opened my eyes. I go, I knew Masada was good, but then he did that. And I
But
go,
then you don't expect that.
Shit. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like Lucha Sky, we see Sky in there, and he'll do shit like that. You're like, whoa, what the fuck?
Funny part is that's actually something that got a lot of people noticing him. Is whenever we first kind of tagged, it was I was getting noticed here and there. I was getting booked at some shows, but he wasn't really getting a lot of notoriety, and it was because people just assume like he's this tall, lanky guy. He's not going to really do anything out of place for someone like that. And then he really started like kind of stepping out of his comfort zone, and he started doing like this lucha stuff. He started doing like stuff off the ropes and whatnot, which people don't expect someone his height to do that. And then the fact he started doing that, people were like, well, oh shit, like it still looks kind of weird that he's doing it, but he's doing it.
Exactly.
Like, and it was crazy, and it got a lot more people to start being like, hey, like who is that guy?
Yeah, exactly. And that's something someone's got a question. Your face paint, is that ever going to come back, or do you think you're kind of done with it?
I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily done with it, but I would say that it's definitely not a time right now to bring it back, for one, because of where I'm at with my character, and then also there's other people at MPX that either have makeup or they're wearing masks or things like that, and I just feel like you don't want to oversaturate it with something like that and kind of get lost in the shuffle.
Also, that's something that's like really associated with your face run and everything like that when you were the the hero of MPX.
And I don't want it to be another confusion thing where it's like fans see that and then I have to work on getting them to hate that too. Yeah. Well, because I mean, what are you gonna do? Sit there and wear the makeup, and whenever you first come out, the fans are just gonna automatically, oh shit, he's doing that again. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's one of the things I liked about your mask. Like, when you had that mask on, we all knew you were evil. We all knew you were going to be more vicious. We always knew that you were going to go the extra mile. Screwdriver
to James Johnson to get him to tap. I'm just like, it's like people are like, oh yeah, he's it's like, no, you guys realize this is a descent into villainy, right?
Well, that was the thing. Like, so at MPX, you kind of went away with it, but then like we went down to ACW and you put it back on. I was like, oh, we're getting that silver tonight. Okay. Like I always enjoyed that. How there are some case in point like that where you have that difference where we know who we're getting with that. And I always enjoy the wrestlers, and we talked about Silver or with Sky a little bit last week of how it's not you're necessarily changing your character and your gimmick. You're just a little more violent in who that violence is directed towards. Like it's kind of that tweener of when Austin or Orton, they're the same character and same person. It's just who is it aggressed towards that makes them face or heel. Yes. And I feel that's the same way with you a little bit.
Actually, that's one of the things I love about this version of your character during this run. It's like it feels like you've realized that Jason Silver has realized that the mask really didn't do a whole lot. It just unlocked something within him, and now you're just doing it just because you can.
Well, I mean, technically, if I wanted to,
Do you still have the mask?
I have one.
I was gonna say, of course it does.
A certain someone, I won't say who he is, just that he's a monster hunter, might have taken one, but that doesn't mean that that's the only one.
Yeah, it's like you had two at least. Yeah,
that
I don't remember if you
that
had
people know of.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's not more. I'm just saying
he had the full one. And he had a half one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Michael Cole asks, have you and Dimitri ever tagged for XP?
I was trying
For XV, I don't think so. I'm not sure if we have tagged. I know we've definitely worked against one another.
I was gonna say, I remember there was an ACW where it was like 3 of the 4 of you that were against each other.
I'll be back. I'm tired of Jay talking.
A lot of people are.
Yeah,
makes total sense. But yeah, Silver's kind of always been an XV because it started with him and Sky. Like that's where XV kind of started, and he'll talk about it later when he gets here. But they slowly just branched out into other people that are very like-minded.
I wanted to make the comment. I was like, I had to remember. It's like Courtney is new.
Yeah.
But it's like it's Sky and
I was gonna say
Jason. Why would you think that he wouldn't?
Sky even touched about it a little bit last week. Is they're very like-minded people. Him and Dimitri think alike, along with Silver West. They think all alike.
Yeah.
And then they kind of brought in the quote-unquote satellites with like Kai and
it's one of the reasons
Tommy
I'm fully
Dean,
I'm fully in support of the Tommy Dean versus Jason Silver match.
Alabama. I was gonna say I don't know if it's Alabama or what we're gonna if it's Malin. I don't know exactly what we're calling her right now.
Retired.
Yeah, semi. I thought it's not fully retired. It's semi-retired. But yeah, they were just a very bunch of like-minded people, not necessarily in the hardcore style, but also the way they think. Like you hear Sky and Dimitri talk about, and we touched about it a little bit last week. Wrestlers, a lot like actors and creative people, are very hard on themselves.
I almost want to do a table for 3 kind of thing at some point. Have
the whole tribe.
Have the whole tribe. We just sit around a round table and just like we'd need actual camera people to do that, but it's like it'd be really cool to do that.
Yeah. And Cole. I don't think I've ever seen Silver and Dimitri as a unit. I know. There was a time in ACW I went, and it was like a 5-way, and pretty much 3 of the 5 people were XB.
Oh, geez, Courtney, give me time, and I'll start on it's like at least everything I know.
Sure.
He is still talking shit.
I do remember that moment when I was talking about I think it was a 5-way, and it was 3 XB versus the other ones, and it was, y'all had the chairs set up, and Sky and Dimitri killed you on those chairs. And I was like, damn. But again, that's also the.
Well, it's not as bad as the time I killed Dave Sagan on the chairs.
That is true.
That was the first match I saw you in, was the street fight against Dave Sagan. I'm just like, you're dragging him around the ring. It's like, chop him. It's like, I missed that one because I'm like, I don't know. I'm new here. I'm brand new here.
Apparently Dave does not like chops. So
no.
I figured I would let the fans join in.
And he even told us that on the show. He goes, nope, I have a 3 chop limit. But no, that's another one where I've said it before when we talked about y'all's matches. It seems y'all hated each other so much. Like, the aggression y'all had against each other.
So have to interrupt to make a kind of an announcement.
No.
Sydney, Courtney, Certified Mark Productions are. We are the unofficial archivists of MPX. We will learn. It's like if we don't already know about it in the history of MPX, we will learn it real quick and we'll let you know.
But yeah, it seemed like y'all's matches, because again, I want to say that was one of Dave's first feuds was you. And it just seemed like y'all absolutely hated each other, and y'all just would go balls to the wall, stiff with each other. And I remember Dave on the show, he goes, "No, me and Silver were fine. Like, no, it was great working with them."
I mean, like we didn't hate each other, but it was definitely from what I knew, he didn't do a lot of hardcore matches or anything like that. So it was one of the first ones where it was someone like me that he's going into a hardcore match with, where it's like, okay, I can't just get away with, like, you know, a chair shot here and, like, you know, a move here or something. We're gonna have to use a lot of weapons.
Right.
And so that's something where it was, yeah, we're going to have to use a lot of weapons, but at the same time, my style is, look at what I can take and keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
His style is he hadn't been in something like that, but he was a smart wrestler.
Yeah.
And
Philly
so
Dave.
it's like we're going to have to beat the shit out of each other, unfortunately, because you're going to have to beat the shit out of me in order for you to survive, and I'm going to have to beat the shit out of you because it's supposed to be like, you've never been in something like this.
Right. No, and again, you really did help Dave into that whole ultra-violent Philly Dave thing that everyone started mimicking after, which led him to the match with Baby D and everything like that. So, yeah, it definitely helped solidify what a great career Dave had in MPX. And you've done that for a lot of people in MPX. That's why we always say you're one of the 4 pillars. Because either you've helped propel them or you've showcased, no, this person is good, this person's good, they can go. And kind of going back, there was a question. So how does Grandma Silver feel about you in wrestling? They say they know she's one of your biggest influences in life and you're very close to her.
I mean, like, I'm pretty sure she's pretty good with it and everything. I mean, she's been to plenty of the shows. And look at it. Who was it I worked where it was the strap match?
Oh, it was Dave, wasn't it?
The friends.
Yeah, fans bring the strap match.
And she spanked the shit out of him. That was one of those things where it was like, you can hit him, but you don't have to hit him that.
There was that, and then I always
that's
always
when the
remember
shirts
that.
got made.
I always remember that because I feel bad because she had that drunk fan over her the whole time, and I was like, why is no one around Grandma Silver protecting her right now? As you saw, she can protect herself. Yeah, she was perfectly fine. But yeah, no, we've seen her at shows and everything. I'm assuming it's the same as every parent. Like, I think even Casey thought, he's like, no, my mom doesn't want me to do it, but she's okay. She'll support it, but she didn't want me to do it. It's, at this point, it's been enough to where they kind of realize where, I guess they essentially trust you.
I'm not sure it's so much that because I still get moments where she'll see me and she'll just be like, are you okay? Are you all right?
I do have to do the dumb stuff.
Yes.
Well,
I still do crazy things.
I was gonna say one of my favorite memes of that, and he's gonna hate me for telling it, but at ACW with your cage match with Greg.
Yes.
And how afterwards XV's carrying you out and you're selling it completely like you're dead. And Sky's terrified. Sky actually thought you hurt yourself. And then go to the back and he's like, oh my God, are you okay? You just nip up. You're like, you're fine. And Dimitri and Westbrook go, yeah, we knew that. We knew he was fine. What is your problem? And Sky's like, that son of a bitch.
You can tell who amongst the XV is his best friend.
That's one of the things I have fun doing is just kind of like, I don't do it all the time, but I do try and pull things over on people from time to time where it's just like people see me get the shit beat out of me. They usually know I'm okay, but every now and then I like to just see how far I can push that. Make them really think that I really am hurt. Like, oh shit, this is the time that it finally happened.
Yeah.
And then
I've seen those before. Yeah, you had that like huge red mark on your rib cage forever after one match, because I think you hit one of the latches for the guardrails or something like that.
Yes.
And I'm just like, did he finally impale himself? You realize it doesn't have to be a wooden stake to kill you.
Well, and that's another one of my memories at ACW is you did your entrance and you just jumped from the back to the ring. And Dave flipped the fuck out. He's like, what the fuck is he doing? He goes, I was like, he's immortal. And he goes, that shit's going to run out. He's like, and I was like, and granted, I'm not going to do it because I'm terrified of heights, but I'm like, it's not that far to the ring. He's fine.
If there were any point where it should have run out by now, it's going to be the staircase at one of the ACW shows because there were so many things trying to make it go horrible, and somehow I survived every single one of them. I fell off the staircase, flipped in the air, landed between 2 rows of fans without hitting any of them, and I landed in a crouched position. It was like a superhero. Like, now you know where Marvel gets it.
Yep.
And then I just stood up and just
Deadpool
kept
was
walking to
wrong.
the ring. Sky had no idea it happened. He had already, he had gone down the stairs. He thought I was right behind him. He slid in the ring, And then he like gets up and he's like just on his knees and he kind of goes like, where am I at? Why are the fans like acting that way? And then he sees me like coming to the ring. Whenever I get in, he was like, what happened? I was like, I fucking fell.
Which is one of my favorite memories, meeting Jessica Havoc at WrestleCon.
That's one of her favorite stories.
And yeah, immediately I was like, yeah, I'm local, you know. And I was talking about, yeah, and I think I was wearing your shirt or something. And she goes, oh my God, you know Silver? I was like, yeah, Silver in the Sky, I know them. I watch them a lot, blah, blah. And she goes, oh my God, one of my favorite videos is them falling from the back. And I was like, oh, Silver's known.
That's how I know what people have met her and what people haven't, because there will be people that I haven't met yet. And they're like, you know, yeah, like I know Jessica Havoc. And I'm like, oh, I know her too. And they're like, oh yeah, you're Silver, right?
Yeah.
And I'm
You're
like,
the one who fell.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, she told us about you all the time. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, well, there's this video that she showed me. And I've heard that story from multiple people.
Yeah, that was one of my greatest memories. And I was like, oh, someone knows someone I know.
But yes, just all the things that could have gone bad in that moment. And it was like one after another in that one moment. And somehow I survived them all.
If ever we needed proof, you're immortal. Right there.
Yes.
Just ask Jessica Havoc. She'll show you the video.
So Michael Cole says he remembers Speedo Silver with the pentagram towel, and Richard says he remembers Silver with Joker makeup in the bazaar.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all.
I wouldn't say Speedo Silver.
Yeah, no.
I mean, we're not trying to take, you know, Kyle's gimmick from it.
That's a little different.
I mean, you can still pinch it and pull it out.
Yeah, I guess you could. But yeah, I guess so. As a wrestler, what do you prefer, the tights or the briefs? Like, did you have a preference of long or not? Or, like, is there really? I guess, like, I know some are like, oh yeah, it's different movement and stuff like that. You feel free in both, don't you? Like, is there really that much of a difference?
There can be. The thing that actually kind of got the trunks and the little dick flap was actually tagging with Greg.
Yeah,
that's kind of what led into that, because he had
that's what he wore. Yeah,
he had that at that time, and I was like, well, for tagging and stuff, I want to be more similar but different at the same time, and so I wanted to do something where it's kind of like we look more like a cohesive tag team, and so I kind of designed the trunks that I had that I never really wore a lot, and I designed them to have that dick flap.
Right. Well, and I think that's something else going back to the whole breathability with you, because you've worn a mask before, and yours is a little different than other masks we've seen. But is there a hindrance as far as vision or breathing or anything like that, or was yours like, nope, everyth's normal?
No, mine doesn't have any grit or anything.
Well, I know you
covering
didn't have
the
the
eyes.
mouth, but the eyes and everything else.
No, I can actually see through my mask.
Sure.
Sorry, Lando.
I was gonna say, it's like I didn't want to bring that one up when you were talking about, you know, being
No one
safe
wanted to bring it up, but apparently that guy wanted the spikes. So
Yeah. Jeez,
I'm pretty sure Lando was yelling that.
Yeah.
But I mean, and we've seen, I can't remember who it was that told me, but they saw a Hayabusa mask and they put it on. They're like, I don't know how the fuck he wrestles in that shit, because they're like, they can't breathe, they can't see out of it, and it's
some people get used to it and some people don't. I will say this, like, speaking of the Lando thing, if one of the excuses you're gonna try and give is that your mask has something that hinders the vision, you shouldn't be wearing that mask.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if you can't work normally in it.
Yep.
If you can't do that, and then at the same time you're hitting someone with a spike and you can't tell it's hitting their head, then you shouldn't be doing that either. No. So yeah, there's a lot of things I've done in my career that I probably shouldn't have been doing, but when it's something like that, I would never do something like that where I know my vision's already hindered.
Right.
And then try and say that that's a reason, the other thing's a reason, and then also the referee wasn't stopping.
Yeah. Well, the referee wasn't stopping it because he was the one screaming in pain.
Well, no, the other referee.
Oh, yeah.
He tried saying the other referee wasn't trying to stop me, so I didn't know there was anything wrong.
And that's the other thing is, you know, because like, so we talk about, you know, if you're in like a hardcore match or anything like that, like, I always like, I'll picture you jumping off anything, that's fine. But is there any certain type of weapon or anything that you're not going to take? Like, I know, you know, Sky's big one's like, I'll never do scissors, I'll never do razor blades, which
He's
Kinda
done.
odd. Yeah. But is there something where you're like,
He
nope,
might
I don't
say
wanna
he won't
that.
do them, but he's done weapons modified with those on them.
Right. Is there something where you're like, nope, don't want to do that? Like, how Star? Are you fine with Star?
Oh. I will say one of the things I will do, but I don't want to, is it always comes down to barbed wire.
Yeah.
Because for one, you know, gear already starts breaking apart very easily.
Yeah.
And then whenever it comes to things like barbed wire and whatnot, either you got to wear like older gear because it's okay for that to get torn up,
Right.
or you got to be very careful because you don't want to tear up your current gear that you're trying to keep.
Shit's
looking
expensive.
Nice.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, it's always come down to something where it's like I've done barbed wire. I don't mind doing barbed wire, but I don't prefer it.
So it's more, not necessarily more about your body. It's more about the gear and the holes and
it's the
burning
gear,
or
but
stuff
then
like that.
also things with barbed wire can go seriously wrong.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
what is it? I'm trying to think. It's actually a story that involves Sky, but I can't remember the exact details of it. So I'll actually go to a story that involves Darren Childs. There was this thing where I set a barbed wire bat up against him. He kind of held onto it to keep it in position, but I guess the way he had it, like part of his arm was on the barbed wire, and I was kicking it.
Sky told about that where he ripped his.
Yes, and it just
Ooh.
ripped him right open.
Yep, it was kind of like the Terry Funk thing.
At first he didn't.
Sabu, I mean.
At first he didn't realize like right away it happened. He knew like ow, that hurt, but
Right.
he didn't think it was that bad. And then like after he starts fighting back against me, like his arms just and so he had his wrists taped. And so he takes the tape off and then wraps it around his arm and just pulls as hard as he can.
That's the thing about wrestling. It just changes your or tolerance for pain to where you just like something that should be like, ow, that fucking hurts, turns into, oh, that hurt.
Right?
Oh,
I mean,
shit, I'm bleeding.
Just things like that can always happen.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I've always thought was, like I've always said, I was like, oh no, he's fine, he's immortal, he's fine, because I've seen you do some stupid shit, and you're like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It was like I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, it's like
ever...
we'll message anybody we know in the back. Is he okay? Is he alive? Yeah, he's fine. He's just walking around right now.
I was gonna say how. I mean, obviously you're gonna feel it. Is there a moment where you?
No, the barbed wire is not fake.
No, in most cases it's not. Usually an indicator is at least on the bigger feds if it's red tipped. Anyways, but has there been a moment where you did something and like the next day you're like, okay, I kind of feel that one, or are you literally just always, no, I'm good.
My face, the ceiling.
Yeah, okay, that one definitely.
I was gonna say
the ceiling definitely probably.
Like I said whenever we were talking about that earlier, is I actually didn't feel the face part at the very beginning of it happening, and then I was gonna actually try and keep going because I didn't realize like anything was wrong, and then it wasn't. Like I said, I was laying there for a second, and then I just kind of realized, oh, like, uh-oh. And they were like, just stay down. Just stay there.
Stay down, you're dead.
Yeah.
All right, let's get one more.
No, we've got 3 more hours.
Yeah, exactly. Let's beat the record. I am kind of curious because I know you're a huge fan of Supernatural. You're a huge fan of Power Rangers. What
makes you think that?
I don't know. It's also the tattoo too, but what show did you enjoy kind of coming out to more? Because you got to play, Dean Winchester, which I'm sure you always want, and then you also got to do the White Ranger.
Oh, Green Ranger.
Well, Green, yeah.
Leva was the White Ranger for some reason.
Yeah, that was later. Wasn't that the second one?
It's the multiverse.
Yeah, exactly. So which one of those were like you more personally, like you? Because I remember there was a time where you couldn't really do Fridays.
Yeah.
And so you specifically wanted to work those two. Was there one where you wanted more than the other, or did you just absolutely want to do both?
I would say the Supernatural thing because again, like it comes to doing those things where it's going to be different than usual. And one of the things I liked about the idea of that is that, technically me and Sky are monsters. And I get to portray a monster hunter.
Right.
God,
And not only that, but it's one of my favorite ones because his attitude's much like mine, according to some people, where I could be an asshole, and I won't deny that.
Who would ever say that?
I was gonna say, it was hilarious you having Tatum as Sam.
Yeah, it's your giant moose. It was great.
Yeah, I think we should have switched that because I could have said it with my hair.
Yeah.
True, you did have the hair different for each other.
But yeah, well, that was
and then of course, there was the challenging Scrappy in that one. That was hilarious.
Well, and I remember the Power Ranger. I think that was the one where you even was like, "No, I'm not going to be there." And it was like a big surprise, and a big reveal that you were the Green Ranger and everything. So
that was one of my favorites as well because I've always liked Power Rangers, but like I've always been like super fan of Green Ranger.
Yeah,
the anti-hero.
Jason David Frank. He's like an awesome person. He's a lot nicer than most actors that you might meet are. He's very open to helping you out if he can. Like whenever I first met him, we weren't able to pay for the meet and greet where you get to take a picture with him. And the guy that was kind of like leading everyone through was kind of being a dick about that. Like we weren't even asking to or anything. He was just like, "No, you can't do that. You can't have all that, blah, blah, blah." And apparently Jason heard him. And so like he was kind of looking over, and I thought he was just like looking to see like how long the line was and whatnot. And whenever we got to that point of meeting him, he was like, "Hey, do you have anything you want me to sign?" We were like, "Oh, well, we didn't pay for that part of the meet and greet. We just came to like have you do this." And he was like, "Well, if you have anything you want me to sign, I'll sign it." And we're like, "All right, cool." And then we were gonna leave it at that. We weren't gonna ask for anything else. And he was like, "You want to take a picture?" And at this point, he was doing it because he heard the guy that was leading everyone in being
That is the
a dick
greatest.
about it. So he was like, he kept saying it, and the guy, like, I actually got a picture of it. Me and my girlfriend at the time, we took a picture with him, and in the background, you see the guy that was leading everyone through going.
That is the
Like,
greatest
he's just
kind of
so
spite.
he's just so upset by it. But
Well,
yeah,
no.
like I loved the Green Ranger. So whenever it came to that, I figured it was a surprise that I was going to get to do it, and then I wanted it to be a surprise for everyone else as well because I wanted them to be excited as I was to do it.
I can tell you there was at least one fan who was screaming when she saw you come out.
Well, and that's the thing. Like apparently, you had to wrestle 5 matches in a row, and then a 12-man tag. They're like they almost killed you in that mask. Apparently.
Yeah, those weren't super easy to see through.
Yeah. No, I think it was immediately halfway through the match, Frankie took his off. I was like, I can't breathe in this shit. But yeah, I was talking about how Leva was the Pink Ranger in the first one. She was supposed to go to Japan for a tour, would not be there for a second show, and then we had to do it again. So, yep. So that's how she became the White Ranger. Yep.
I know it was a good twist. I enjoyed it. I was just like it's like the whole thing of that's not how the show goes, though. But okay, cool.
We rewrite our own.
Yeah, no, it was no. He said multiverse. I'm totally with that. Yeah.
And then she got hurt like 2
We need to get a
weeks
third Power Rangers Friday show where you get to be the White Dragon Ranger, shattered grid.
How come in every version of the multiverse he still talks?
I know. I try.
So, ladies and
Don't get
gentlemen,
it.
thank you for watching.
Oh, that's how you're going to end it?
Yeah, we're going to end it there. Thank you for watching.
No,
We're
it's
going to
not.
go
We
ahead and
still
call
got
it.
questions.
I know we still got questions. But thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually starting to run out of battery power on things. But
Liar.
yeah, no, actually, stuff is dying.
Your phone
Yeah,
can die.
your
It doesn't
phone.
mean
I
that's
still
good.
have full, sir. We
Yeah,
can still
well,
go.
You know what? Still, my show. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And make sure you're there this Saturday for Christmas Wish. And
Christmas Wish, December 25th, MPX Event Center. It's going to be amazing. Get your season passes for January and February as well.
and make sure you get your season pass, or especially get your tickets for the Rumble. And if you want to sit in the front row, get those special now. Either way, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Merry Christmas. Mark out.
See y'all Saturday. I have a cool tagline too. You good?
I can't have a cool tagline. He keeps interrupting us.
That is true.
Yeah.
Who the fuck said that?
The person with